is expressive. So when I just wake up and have an idea and I create something out of that idea, it's God showing off. So that's what it is for me.
I've always been a little bit shy, but when it comes to fashion, I will wear anything and I will wear it with confidence. And so for me, that is a way of expressing myself, you know? And I feel it also is the same thing for a lot of women.
African for me means community. It means living together. If you look at Africans, they're all talking about the different countries in Africa. You know, it's all about our community. So for me, Africa means community. It means living together.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect am. If you no talk, dem go beat you. Na 2,500 they pay.
And you are live from Lagos, Nigeria. This is Plus Sports Special on Plus TV Africa. I'm Udoka Njoko, and it's a weekend. We're looking forward to a lot of sporting activities, and most especially the English Premier League. We'll see a huge one between Liverpool and Manchester United. It's a top-of-the-table clash, and for the Liverpool fans, they'll be hopeful to get a result against Manchester United. And don't forget, we have the Nigeria Professional Football League also going down this weekend. Our league is back and better. We're enjoying every bit of it. And I've got Wale Scott right here, and it promises to be a great show for 1 hour, and you will enjoy everything that we have for you today. Good to have you, Wale.
It's a great Saturday, Udoka. Like you said, there are just about too many sporting activities going around. We've got a fantastic guest on the show. We will keep that a secret till later. And it's going to be a great weekend. I can feel it already.
All right, of course, I'm looking forward to that one. And, you know, before we get into sports now, there's a lot that comes with phone theft. You go back to, you start looking for how to block your accounts, log out from all devices, change passwords and all that. Since last night, I've been up. I think I slept around 2 a.m. trying to log out from all devices, changing passwords here and there. And I got a debit alert this morning, and they had already started withdrawing money from my account. But I was lucky enough to have logged out and closed most of the accounts before they could get a large chunk of money from my account.
I think it's sad. I hate to sound inhumane now, but losing your phone is like losing a pet or even a child, you understand? Because in the course of time, you've gotten used to that phone, you've gotten attached to that phone. it's going to take a while before you get used to the fact that the phone is actually gone. You know, these days of technological days, you get attached to your phone. Your phone is your office, is your home, is your friend. You know, and losing it right now losing it alone is traumatic.
Yeah.
And then you get robbed while losing it. That's more trauma for you. You know. So I think you're going to go through a lot. I think it's not about, first of all, you're going to log out. Eventually get a new phone, and it will take a long time to get to the ringtone.
Exactly.
So the phone will ring, and you know it's your phone that's ringing, you know?
Maybe you have to dash me your mobile phone.
Well, why not? You have to get used to the ringtone, though.
Would you give me your mobile phone?
Of course not.
You won't?
I'm attached to it already now.
But you are supposed to be like
I should give you my whole office and give you the office.
Oh, it's your office. Maybe I should. Okay, it's fine. All right, let's talk about the Nigerian Professional Football League. We have week 5 fixtures. Plateau United will take on Adama United, Nasarawa versus Katsina United, Enyimba versus Kano Pillars. I mean, I look forward to this one. The heavyweights in the Nigerian Professional Football League will go head-to-head against each other. And table toppers, Rivers United, will take on Heartland FC of Owerri. What you're seeing right now is the table where Rivers United are topping and Abia Warriors are somewhere ravishing and enjoying the bottom place. But we'll get to look at that one. But let's focus on the fixtures. And of course, the Jigawa Golden Stars, who have become the champion beaters. They actually went away from home to beat Abia Warriors last week, 3-1. They'll be up against Kwara United. FC Fanyoba will take on Abia Warriors. MFM, right here in Lagos, we enjoyed the game between MFM and Rangers International. Lobby Stars will take on Dakada FC. Sunshine Stars will be up against Warri Wolves. A lot of interesting games to look forward to.
Great games. But ironically, the one I would want to watch is FC Fanyoba against Abia Warriors. Why? The management of Abia Warriors have given Imama a 3-match ultimatum. You have to win your next 3 matches or you will be sacked. And I think that's why I want to watch them. And then they give me a 3-match ultimatum, and the next match is going to have the first of the 3 matches is against FC Fanyoba.
Away from home.
Away from home. So I think that's a tough call for him. But I pray for Imama. I'm a big fan of the man. I pray for him, and hopefully he can actually succeed in winning his next 3 matches. But the managers of Abia Warriors have said, listen, you must win your next 3 matches or you will be sacked. It's not no story, you know. So I think that's the match I want to watch. I'll have my fingers crossed. Yeah. Hopefully, he can at least get a draw against FC Fanyoba away.
What about Enyimba?
But they are great matches.
Enyimba Kano Pillars, that should be another
That
big
should be a great match. Both teams have had a good practice period before, during COVID and all that. They were all practicing and all that. So I think that would be a tough call. I would give it to the home team at this point. You know, the home team would always have them there. Despite the fact that there are no spectators, they would always have their edge over the other team. But Kano Pillars, Enyimba, an epic any day.
And MFM versus Rivers. Okay,
and you
MFM
were watching the highlights of one of our matches on MPF, and we were like, wow, so much skill in Nigerian league.
Exactly.
I've always said it, Nigerians are built to play football. And if you actually have time to watch our matches, you will see some, some
brilliant
mad skills.
And, I think it will also end the conversation when we say that we don't have good players in our local league. Now we can get to see these games on TV.
And see that we have some very, very good players. So sometimes you watch some games, you watch some really good skills in our football and ask yourself, what is Genaro talking about? Does he really watch these matches? Is Yobo doing his job?
Exactly.
Truth be said, there are some skills there. There are some improvable players in the league. You can actually get them into the Super Eagles. Take them. I'm not insisting you play them. But at least take them for matches. Let them get to meet Messi one-on-one. So when push comes to shove, you won't be scared when it's the next time. Take them out. Don't play them, but at least give them the experience they need. There are some skills in there.
Very true. And talking about Abia Warriors head coach Imama Mapakabo and his technical crew, they've been given the mandates to win their next 3 games. And I learned that 2 of those games will be away from home. And if he doesn't get to win, of course, he will face the music, and that has to be a sack. Now, the sporting director of the club, Patrick Ngwagu, issued the directive after the management of the club held an emergency meeting with the coaches in Umuahia on Thursday. Abia Warriors occupy last position on the MPFL table after failing to record a win in their opening 4 games of the campaign. Now, we know Abia Warriors to be a very big club in the MPFL. Do you think, as they say in the foreign team, they will say players are playing against the coach, do you think that applies with Abia Warriors and the players?
I don't think so. Traditionally, Abia Warriors is deep-seated in that state. The politicians love the club, help the club out. But it's not about going to meet them once in a while and giving them money. Buy new players. That they have not done in a while. Buy new quality players. Spend the money on the players. You can't expect the same people to do different things different times. It's the same thing they will do at the same time.
But sorry to cut you, Wale. This is Imama we're talking about. This is one man who led Rangers International to their first trophy, like Liverpool, in so many years. So he has experience. He has also been a part of the coaching crew of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. So he's a good coach. So what exactly
You are
is wrong?
beginning to think like the Abia state government at this point.
Well, I'm just saying.
Imama is not Moses. He's not going to part the Red Sea. He's not going to perform a miracle. Love it or leave it. You know, the truth be said, Imama is working with players that are basically substandard. Maybe he has not complained to the states. Maybe he should tell them, listen, I need better players. I need more players. Imama is a good coach, working with substandard players. He will get these results. They want to rubbish his image, his well-polished image in the past. Imama, you are giving Imama a 3-match ultimatum to win with these players against FC Fayouba away. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, well,
I'm only praying that Imama can actually get a draw away with FC Fayouba. But with these same players, he's not a miracle worker as a coach. A very good one for that matter. But he's not a miracle worker.
I just want to see something good come out from this game. So I'll look forward to that game, Abia Warriors against Ifeanyi, and I'll take a risk and put my money on Abia Warriors, either getting a win or a draw in that one against FC Ifeanyi. It just can happen. Yes, the cameraman doesn't go with me. He's not supporting me, but it's my risk. It's not your risk. I'll take that risk and say Abia Warriors can actually get a win or a draw in this one. So talking about Nigerian clubs now, Rivers United has confirmed its rescheduled Confederation Cup tie against South Africa's Bloemfontein Celtic will be played in Benin, the capital, that's Porto Novo, on the 23rd of January. The Confederation of African Football, that is CAF, ordered the second leg of the last 32 tie to be moved to a neighboring country to Nigeria, which has more lenient COVID-19 protocols for travelers arriving from South Africa. Rivers United against Bloemfontein, back and forth. Finally, there's a decision to be played in Benin. It still feels like home for the Nigerian club.
No doubt. Someone once told me, I won't call the person's name, jokingly, and said Rivers United were only buying time. That COVID was just an excuse to buy time. Well, whether they were buying time or not, they bought enough. We don't expect them to lose against Bloemfontein Celtics. But I think it's a good thing that Nigeria insisted that, listen, we have strict COVID-19 rules. South Africans always have this, like I said it earlier on the show, last week, they have this inferiority complex towards Nigerians. They always feel we are better than them, and they want to always prove a point. But I don't see anything wrong with them coming early enough to Nigeria, get quarantined, and play their match eventually. But they said, no, we're not going to be quarantined. We all know the epicenter of COVID-19 on the continent, South Africa. So we have every right to listen, you must come and quarantine, at least for 7 days. We didn't even say 14 days, though. And we were like, no, we're not going to quarantine. They are feeling cooler. Okay, so let the match be postponed now. So eventually, Benin Republic have minimal restrictions on COVID, you know, so they actually don't have to quarantine when they get there, maybe 2 or 3 days. So we've picked Porto Novo to actually play the match. Like you said earlier, Porto Novo is like home. It's just next door to Nigeria. So it will be like playing at home for Nigeria and playing away for South Africa. So hopefully, if the truth is Rivers was trying to buy time, they've bought enough time.
Yeah.
We should be able to take Bloemfontein to the cleaners in Porto Novo.
All right. For Rivers United, they lead the tie 2-0 after the first leg, with the overall winners progressing to play Champions League losers Enyimba of Nigeria in the playoffs to qualify for the group stage of the Confederation Cup. So, whatever it is, if Rivers United gets to crash out today, I mean, when they take on Bloemfontein Celtic, it still means one of them will get to face, that's Bloemfontein will face Enyimba. If Rivers wins, it means 2 Nigerian clubs will face themselves and one has to crash out from the tournament.
The good thing is, if it's going to be Rivers United against Enyimba, the solace we'll get from that is that a Nigerian team will still qualify and one will crash out. Yeah. If it has to be Bloemfontein Celtic, I don't see Bloemfontein from a 2-goal deficit beating Rivers. It's not that bad. I'm not saying the team is fantastic, but they're not that bad, you know. So I see, I want to say a Nigerian matchup. After this, you know, Rivers against Enyimba. But if Bloemfontein do perform that miracle, I doubt that, and they get to meet Enyimba, they will be meeting a tough opposition too in Enyimba too, so it won't be easy for them too. But the good thing is, if Rivers meet Enyimba, one Nigerian team will crash out, one Nigerian team will qualify. So.
And talking about another team that's qualified for a final of a tournament is the Golden Eaglets. They've booked their place in the final of the Wafu B tournament in Togo following a hard-fought 1-0 win against Burkina Faso in their semi-final clash at the Stade de Koug in Lomé on Friday. Now, that game, of course, for Fatai Amao's side, they also picked a ticket to the Africa Under-17 Cup of Nations in Morocco following the victory against the Young Stallions. The Under-17 AFCON will hold later this year in the North African country. I mean, from so much calculations and palpitations, we lost one game, we drew one, and we'll qualify for the next phase of the tournament. And we got a slim victory against Burkina Faso. We are in the finals. Do we deserve
I
to be in the
sincerely
finals?
hope that these are not the crop of players Amao intends to take to North Africa. I hope not. These boys are not just good enough. There's no... I don't pamper anything now. They are not good. They turned us into Nigeria of olden days when we used to be mathematicians. If this one wins, if that one loses this game, then we will qualify. We had to wait for Cote d'Ivoire to beat somebody before Nigeria qualified. We are already packing our things to go home and then praying, keeping our fingers crossed, hoping fervently that Cote d'Ivoire will beat somebody. And Cote d'Ivoire did. Then we qualified. Then we played Burkina Faso. Then we scored one goal. Come on. How long? We haven't done that in a while.
Yeah.
The Super Eagles haven't given us the course to do that in a while. Mathematics, we're now starting 3 minus 1. If Cote d'Ivoire beats this, come on. As they are not just good enough. We are there in the finals, sheer luck. I don't know how they got there. They didn't win any match. They only won one yesterday against Burkina Faso, a slim victory, 1-0. Unconvincing win, if you ask me. And they are not just good enough. I don't know how it happens. Nigeria, for example, let's use our Paralympians, athletes, for example. They go to National Stadium. They train with bad facilities. Either the facilities are old or they are spoiled. They don't use supplements. They don't drink vitamins. They don't do anything that other athletes do abroad. The structures that they use to train are bad. After training, they will eat rice, yam, and beans with pure water. That's what they eat after training. But they still go abroad at Paralympians and still come back home with gold. How? I don't know. And the same luck, the same power of Nigeria's spirit that follows everywhere is following these boys too.
Yeah, you know...
This is just sheer luck.
Exactly. You know, there's something he said some days ago. He said there's always start poorly, then when we will find a way to qualify,
gain momentum,
we'll not gain momentum and we'll go all the way.
These ones, I've tried to watch the team play. I've tried to see their results. I've tried to check them out. They didn't gain momentum in this thing. The Super Eagles ordinarily would gain momentum in a competition. This one's is just luck. They didn't gain momentum.
But I wish you could actually see the goal that was scored against Burkina Faso. It was a lovely goal. I'll give credit to the team. It was a fantastic goal by the Golden Eaglets. So we'll look forward to the finals of that tournament. It will go down on Sunday, and I just hope that they get to lift that one, at least to be a breath of fresh air for Nigeria.
The good news, though,
yeah,
luck or no luck, power of Nigeria or no power of Nigeria, the good news is we have qualified for the tournament proper, which we haven't done in a while.
Yeah.
In about 5 years now, our age group teams have not qualified for any major competition. That they've done now. And
talking about competitions that we've not qualified in a long time, this is the Total African Nations Championship, which we hold in Cameroon. That's Cameroon 2020. It kicks off in Central African country, and the hosts will take on Zimbabwe at the Amadou Ahidjo Stadium in Yaoundé later today, after being rescheduled from April 2020 due to COVID-19 global pandemic. Now, the tournament is designed exclusively for footballers who play in their domestic African competitions, and it will kick off with the Group A fixture between hosts Cameroon and the Warriors of Zimbabwe. Now, let's look at teams that have qualified for the 2021 African Nations Championship. There's Cameroon, Congo, DR Congo, who are two-time former champions in 2006 and 2009. There's Rwanda, Tanzania. Tanzania happens to be this is their second ever appearance in the competition. There's also Uganda, Libya, champions in 2014, Morocco, defending champions. There's Namibia, who were quarterfinalists 2 years ago, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Guinea, and Mali were runners-up in 2016, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Togo, who happened to be debutant. Now, no Nigeria. We lost out, we got eliminated, and we got a bashing from Cote d'Ivoire and the likes. It wasn't a good one, and knowing that we're not qualifying for this one is also a slap on our local football.
Look, when it's time for a child to do an exam, it's the day of the exam you know whether the child has been reading or not. if we don't work on our structures in our Nigerian Professional Football League, why do we always expect a miracle? Why do we expect people like Ahmad Jupili to come out and just talk nonsense? And we'll get there, we'll do it. How can you do well when our structures are bad? How can you do well when our league was not even running then? You can imagine a competition where Congo have won it twice, because Congo have been working on their league over time. They are not half as rich as Nigeria, but they are working on their league. So if you read for your exams, automatically you will pass. So these countries, Egypt, Algeria, Morocco, have consistently, Sudan, Congo, have been working on their leagues. So you expect them to do well with CHAN. It's only normal. If Nigeria does not, it's what you grow, you will harvest now, you know? Our leagues are bad. The structures are bad. We go there depending on individual skills when we go to these countries, and it goes beyond that. You bond as a team. Our team don't bond. They don't have good structures. Our league is off and on, you know, and this is it. Nigeria is not there. Expectedly, we're not there. We have so much money. We don't invest in our Nigerian Football League. This is what we get. We don't get to be in competitions like this. It's simple.
They are quite sad, but of course, in as much as Nigeria is not participating in this one, we'll still get to enjoy it, and we'll bring you up-to-date information as the competition goes. But let's take a break, and when we return, we'll have Wiley Scott interviewing and, of course, having an exclusive chat with a boxing sensation. We'll be right back after this break.
Nigeria, by extension, Africa, is faced with a lot of challenges. The growing youth population with little engagement, that is a ticking time bomb. We are a blessed people with diverse culture and highly cerebral minds who have a lot to say. And yes, we are talking. It is important we drive the right conversation that informs, inspires, influences thoughts and action. If we say there's beauty in our diversity, then let us embrace our diverse culture. We must continue to courageously be the voice of transformation, as we are the hope for the future. Yesterday's conversations shape today. What are you saying to shape your tomorrow? We know you have a lot to say, and we are here to hear you.
I mean, how can anyone think that if I tell him to do a will, it means that I wish him dead? He himself is a dense person.
We have a lot of clergymen dabbling into this whole thing, mystifying it, concocting it with relating it to end time and the rest of it, and then creating a lot of fear.
Yes, you know there's unemployment. Yes, you know there's insecurity, and then we should be coming down. We shouldn't be talking. Seriously, just this week, you have increased the electricity tariff again from 2 naira to 4 naira.
4 naira.
So what is that? And then when we talk, Femi Adesina tells us we're wailing. Really? When Ghana is giving free electricity to citizens. Are you for real?
There's a joke about these monkeys because they come within the estates next door and they'll carry your pot of soup from fire. So now I know why. It's because we're the ones inhabiting their space.
We're the one inhabiting their space. The monkeys are protesting, and that is what we're having.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Event, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Oshukeye.
Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Events is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely, by no question. He's a living legend. No, God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, no.
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity.
No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry. You're watching
Plus Event
on Plus TV. Stay glued to Plus TV Africa every Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West African time.
First point of accountability is asking questions.
Hello and welcome to Plus Sports on Plus TV Africa. I am Udoka Njoko.
Hi everyone, welcome to Plus Training.
You cannot continue to recycle poverty while you're spending a lot of money on unproductive ventures.
The government has to feel the impact.
Honorable Commissioner, sir, welcome to the show.
Politics has helped shape the decision of the polity, from conspiracy theories to good old-fashioned comic politics.
These are the results of tomorrow's election. Okay, you have it already, Abi.
I am not hungry. If I need appointment, all I need to do is to start praising government.
Plus, politics will fill the polls of the country, from friends to frenemies, even strange bedfellows, to clones and stooges. We go beyond the rhetorics and the drama to analyze the story behind the story.
Let anybody come and say. The moment we stop having charlatans occupy political offices, we will curtail hate speech.
Plus Politics, not just another political show. It's about putting you, the citizens, in the know.
We can't talk about education reform if we don't decolonize our education system.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize. Because it's just cultural. And I think it's just human nature.
They stop paying us salary. I don't like remembering it.
I am angry at Nigeria. I'm angry at this government which seems to be letting us down. I'm angry at us as a people.
In the process of struggling to free myself from his hand, he tore my pants and he raped me.
Yes, I commit offense truly.
Young girl, do you know where you are going? I say, I'm going to America. I say, oh. Now so that they talk, you are going to Libya. Which America?
As it then mark our place, some people they die now.
This is Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us on Plus Sports. I've got a guest on the show today, and she's been a sensation from when she was really very young. And when I mean very young, I mean really young, you know. But she's a fantastic boxer. She's here with her father and coach, and we're going to be asking her different questions. The sports minister actually identified with her recently. He invited her, they got talking, and some things were said to her. She'll probably explain that to us by herself. Let me welcome her coach and her father first off. His name is Olayinka Quadri. Yinka, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming on the show.
You're welcome.
Sekinas Quadri, good morning. Good morning. Let me start the first question with you. How did boxing start for you?
I just like it.
Did anybody talk to you about it? Did you just like boxing by yourself? Why boxing? Why didn't you play football or something like table tennis, lawn tennis? Why boxing?
No, it's because one day my daddy go and jog Saturday and Sunday, early morning. When I'm now 5 years old, and I told my daddy that, where are you going this early morning? And I said, I'll follow you. And I wear my clothes and I follow my daddy to go and jog. When we jog finish, we now sit down, we are not playing. And I said, Daddy, look, and the person that is doing boxing that used to show me on your phone, they have come. She had to go and tell them that I want to do. But then I said, go on, sit down. And I said, go on, I'm not agree. I just go. I just said that I want to do boxing. Then I said, where's my daddy? And I pointed at him. And I pointed at him. The coach now said that, should I let your child do? My dad now said, yes, if you want to do. That's when I started.
How old were you then?
5.
How old are you now?
I'm 9.
9. Okay, initially, Yinka, you didn't want her to join the boxing. She said she wanted to join the boxing guys. You said no, she shouldn't join. Eventually, you agreed. Why?
Because I want her to play football.
Okay.
In the first place. That was my dream, my focus for her, to play football. But when she just said, Daddy, look at those people there, I want to go and do that. I said, no, sit down, Joe. And when she went to those people, I now saw her just like play. The coach now said, Daddy, can you give me your daughter to do this? I said, if she said she wanted to do, she
Why
can
not?
go ahead.
And she was only 5 then?
Yeah.
You had no fears. You know, I'm a father, and I have a daughter who actually is a blue belter in Taekwondo. Okay. You know, but initially when she said she wanted to do Taekwondo in school, I was initially skeptical about that. But eventually I agreed, and it's paying now off. But why didn't you scared initially? You know, boxers, at the end of the day, have different funny diseases, either something with their head, Parkinson's disease. How are you thinking of our future? Boxing. It's a contact sport.
Yeah. I think about that. But I know before, if you have a skill in boxing, if you don't receive a blow too much, definitely that will not affect you in your future. So by the time you are learning the boxing, you will be watching some video. Some people that boxing have ruined their life and the one that have put them up. So you have to be careful when you are fighting. Don't receive the blow too much.
Sekinas, who is your best boxer? Anthony Joshua, Muhammad Ali. Who do you like best?
All of them.
All of them. You must have one that you like the best.
Okay, Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali. In school, how do your friends treat you? And then hope you don't get angry in school and beat anybody up or something.
No.
Okay. But Yinka, what kind of support has she received in the past? Now, everybody knows her. The sports minister has identified with her. What support has she received in her quest to be a professional boxer in future?
If I could say for that, the sports minister, I've seen her, but he promised her a scholarship to his secondary school level, which I've been talking to him on phone, and he sent someone to me. He sent Shoma, Mary Onyali to me. And Mary Onyali has been calling me. We talk on phone. That is because of this issue on the ground of this COVID, that they should have been, that I should have been here from them. That maybe, probably this year, everything will work out.
Okay, but apart from the sports minister, who is basically the government, we have not seen any private investor, any private person getting in contact?
No.
Okay, now, you have a son.
Yeah.
He's around in the studio, but because of COVID-19, we can't bring him into the studio. Okay. His name is Mubarak. Yeah. And you will see some clips with Mubarak on his screen now. Yeah. How did Mubarak get involved in boxing? Now, you have 2 children who are involved in boxing extensively. How did Mubarak get involved?
Yeah. I talked to Mubarak, do you want to learn boxing or football?
That's Mubarak?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said football, that I want to play football. I said, okay, go ahead. I bought boots for him to play the football. But later he just decided, Daddy, I will follow you today. I'm not going to that football. I will follow you today. In the first place, when he started, he said, when they gave him blue like this, he said, Daddy, I don't do it again. I don't do it again. So later, he picked up. And since then, whenever we go, he wanted to follow us there. So that's why he's picking up.
Okay, second, when Mubarak joined your boxing group and started learning, how did you feel?
I feel happy.
How many of your friends are involved in boxing too? That are your age mates that box too?
There are many.
There are many girls that box too?
Yes.
So far.
Okay, what do you plan for the future? You want to represent Nigeria at the Olympics, you want to become a professional boxer and box like Laila Ali, Muhammad Ali's child. What do you think your future will be like in a few years from now in boxing?
I want to be an Olympic champion.
Olympic champion?
Like Muhammad Ali, Laila Ali, Anthony Joshua, Claire Rashid, and Mike Tyson.
Wow. How do you cope with school and boxing?
On Saturday and Sunday, I go to boxing. I go and train boxing. And Monday to Friday, I go to school. When
after school, you do lesson?
Yes. When there is holiday, I train every day, like this.
Yeah.
When there is holiday, I train every day. And Sunday, we do sparring.
You do sparring on Sundays. So, Yinka, we will hope fervently that you succeed in your endeavors with young Sekinat Mubarak, of course. And we hope that the sports minister will quickly answer your question. And of course, the private sector. Yeah. I know for one that there was a time that the king in Oyo or something used to be a boxer those days.
Yeah, I heard that.
And that he's always willing to actually support young boxers. I'm sure if he hears about it, we'll see how we can get the interviews to him.
I heard that before. I heard that
used
before.
To be a boxer, yes.
Yeah, because I've went there before, maybe in 2017. I took some boxers there to go and fight. But at the end of the day, I don't want to be saying...
Of course, no.
So we took some boxers there. So we fought there and then we come back home.
Thank you very much for coming on the show, Mika. We hope we can have you again next time when we want you. Sekinat, thank you very much for coming. Don't forget that you have to put boxing and school on the same level. Yeah. Box well, go to school well and read well. Yeah?
Yes.
Thank you very much for coming.
You're welcome.
We have Sekinat Quadri on the show with us and her father and coach, Olayinka Quadri. Let's talk about parenting now. And sports. Now, Washington Spirits have selected forward Trinity Rodman with the #2 overall pick in the National Women's Soccer League draft. Now, Trinity is the daughter of basketball and former basketball legend Dennis Rodman, who played for the Chicago Bulls. Now, the 18-year-old Trinity was due to play for Washington State before the last college soccer season was wiped out due to the coronavirus pandemic. Now, let's listen to Trinity and we will be right back. Stay with us.
do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
It's also equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect am. If you no talk, dem go beat you. Na 2,500 they pay.
Is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Bookie November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Even just be in the draft with my situation and my age is insane, but to be number 2 to an amazing team is out of this world. Like, I couldn't ask for anything more. And DC's just got an awesome program, awesome team. The coach is amazing. I've talked to him a couple times. I know he's a hard head, but I'm so excited to be his player and learn and get better. But their team's awesome, and I'm so excited to go there. Obviously, like, when you're young, you try a lot of sports, and I think soccer, to me, it just felt more of like at home. Like, I felt so comfortable playing. And I think I noticed, like, at a really young age, probably like 7 or 8, because I would get so annoyed when, like, we'd lose, and I'd just be like, why? So I'd like freak out on everything. And I think that soccer has just always been like embedded in my brain, and I can't stop thinking about it. And I'm just like, I want to go out and play soccer. I want to learn more. I want to do this. I want to play with my feet, really. So I just kind of fell in love with the game.
I mean, there's something about catching them young, and I'm glad Dennis Rodman has decided to allow his daughter take football rather than playing basketball, as he did for the Chicago Bulls. And earlier on, we heard Wale have that great conversation with Sekinat. And of course, it was quite interesting to note that the father actually chose football, and the girl said, "No, Daddy, I want to be a boxer."
A boxer. I think we must. What lessons to be learned from Olayinka this morning is that sometimes we should let our children follow their dreams. You know, he wanted soccer for both children, Mubarak and Sekinat, and they both wanted boxing instead. And Dennis Rodman has said, "Listen, I have nothing against my daughter playing soccer. Yes, I'm a basketball legend with Chicago Bulls. However, the girl has said, I prefer to do sports with my legs and not my hands. You know, and I think it's a good thing that Rodman is the father he should be. He's not saying, I'm a basketball legend, you must do basketball if you have to do sport. The girl wants soccer, and he says soccer it is. You know, I was very pessimistic when my daughter said, of all the things, I wanted her to do ballet in school. You know, really, I've always felt ballet is a girl's thing.
In Nigeria, ballet?
Yes, I wanted her to do ballet in our school. They do ballet in our school, and she was like, no, I want taekwondo. For like the first 3 weeks I parad. Like, come on. Of all the sports in the world, of all the things to do in school, you can't do swimming, you can't do ballet, it's a girl's thing, and you want taekwondo. Now she's a blue belt, a second blue belter now, and she's only 12. I think the spirit is, I let her do it. And I saw her become more disciplined at home. You know, I saw her become more matured. I guess because of the sports, you know. Taekwondo comes with them. All these sports come with a lot of maturity. You're not allowed to fight. You have to work on your temper and all that. And she became... She grew up overnight, you know, when she started doing the sports, and it was nice. So I praised the day I made that decision and said, okay, go do your taekwondo if you want. So I think fathers should learn to understand that, listen, they must go to school, no doubt. Education is key. However, let them follow their passion too. We see the Mikkels of this world today, we see the Victor Osimhens of this world, and they were good to school then, but their parents, to a large extent, gave them a chance to play their football. And look at where they are today. So I guess everybody will not be like Muhammad Ali,
yeah,
who insisted Laila must be a boxer, you know, and even at that, she's based on female boxing in the world, she's a great boxer, she's an Olympian, you know, and so parents must learn. This is a learning point for most parents who are watching this show, but listen, you must allow these children follow their dreams. Yes, they must go to school, you must pay their school fees and all that, but if they have a passion to, let them follow it too.
Very true. And there's also Chinonso Eche, who broke the Guinness Book of Records for the longest time to hold the ball on his head and also juggle another ball. So let the parents do their thing and support these kids. And of course,
I know this girl too, Something Obo, who is a golfer. She's young, she's about 17 or 18 now, and golf has taken her practically everywhere in the world.
Yeah, so from basketball, football, golf, athletics, let's...
And there's this swimmer too, whose father is a lifesaver in a popular hotel in Surulere. He actually, and in the course of doing that, he was actually teaching the girl to swim. And the girl is representing Lagos at the festival now. She's gone abroad about twice South Africa to go and swim, and she's a fantastic swimmer.
Very true. And talking about basketball, Giannis Antetokounmpo won the battle against Luka Doncic as the Milwaukee Bucks edged the Dallas Mavericks in the NBA. Now, the Greek Freak needed his teammates' help to get the 112-109 win over the line, despite scoring a game-high 31 points and 9 assists. Let's enjoy the highlights. When we come back, we'll continue with the rest of the show.
Doncic coming down the lane with a head of steam. Switched hands and got a nice left-handed finish in the paint. Antetokounmpo back on the court to start the second quarter. Goes right at Cauley Stein and sets it with his chest. And missed everything. No reset on the shot clock. Loose ball. Giannis got it. Underneath Holiday with a circus shot with the left hand. Doncic 10 points of the ball game on 4 of 8 from the field. Got into the paint, and can you get any better than 22-0? As Porzingis knocks down the 3.
After a 16-shot performance in 21 minutes.
Middleton back out to Giannis. Spins on Cauley Stein, extends that right as it now. As Cauley Stein on the edge, backs it out for 3, got it!
Defense by Cauley Stein. He took the shot they wanted him to take. Stereo.
Made the catch, cross-court Johnson for the lead, got it! And Dallas and Lopez had a mismatch against Hardaway Jr. They couldn't get it to him. Contested 3 on the way, calling for the Lopez screen. Picks it up in three-point territory. Another. Perk on the baseline. Back out to Porzingis for the lead. And he missed badly. And a couple cracks up. Holiday all over Doncic. Doncic gets to the basket for 2. It's a 2.
These games are invaluable for Milwaukee. Playing close, hard-fought games. Playoff simulation.
Luka will get it off. Wow, that was dangerously close.
And of course, a big battle between Luka Doncic and, of course, the Milwaukee Bucks. Talking about the Greek god Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Antetokounmpo emerged champion in that one. I would have loved to talk about James Harden, who made a big move from the team he represented, talking about the Houston Rockets, and now playing for the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, the combo right there with the Nets is a massive one. Probably later on the show, probably on Monday, we'll get a look at that. But let's talk about rapper Pitbull, who has become a part of the Trackhouse Racing Team's ownership group ahead of their NASCAR Cup Series debut season. Now, Trackhouse will debut in a Chevrolet Camaro driven by lone Mexican-born driver Daniel Suarez at the Daytona 500 on February. That's in February of 14. That happens to be Valentine's Day. Now, Pitbull becomes another high-profile name to enter NASCAR after basketball great Michael Jordan, who last September announced a partnership with 3-time Daytona 500 winner Denny Hamlin to form a new team that will feature Bubba Wallace as its driver. It's good to see our celebrities, musicians, actors getting to be a part of sports. And I wish...
Yeah, even yesterday was in the news that this guy is taken to rapping now, Ronaldinho. He's not a rapper actually now. I guess it's a good thing to actually... And the good thing about it is that when you are a celebrity, you already have a fan base. You're a brand already. And then to bring that fan base and that brand into a sport is massive.
Yeah, because I was going to say that I long to see more of this happen in Nigeria. Let's see our celebrities own part of sports franchise.
Yeah.
And I think it will go a long way to selling.
I know for one that some of our celebrities are very, very involved in sports. Sound Sultan is the basketball freak, you know.
But we used to know him to be very popular with the Lagos Highlanders back then. But I don't know if the support is still as strong as it used to be. But
I know he used to train with them and all that. And Lagos Highlanders is a team that's in the league. And then he used to train with them. I think if he gets a chance to play, he will play with them too in our league. So that's one celebrity who's actually very involved in sports, and I'm sure many more will get involved. See, Nigeria, we are a bandwagon people. When somebody does something, we all start to do it. If this thing gets popular, Ronaldinho, a rapper, he gets involved in racing and all that. Trust me.
Imagine
they will get involved.
A Davido owning a basketball
Why not?
club.
He can afford it.
Or a Wizkid having.
I know for one that Seun Kuti has a football club who, well, are not anywhere yet in the league and all that, but at least he funds them regularly and they train regularly.
All right, talking about training regularly and getting results from that one, let's talk about Manchester United midfielder Bruno Fernandes, who has done a lot of work, and the accolades that he's getting, of course, is truly deserved. He has made the Premier League history after being named the EA Sports Player of the Month for December 2020. Fernandes topped an 8-man shortlist that included Anwar El Ghazi. There's also Emiliano Martinez, Ben Mee, Marcus Rashford, Mohamed Salah, and Thomas Suchek, and of course, John Stones. He has become the first player to win the award 4 times in a calendar year, having also done so in February, June, and November 2020. Only 5 players have won more Premier League Player of the Month awards than Bruno Fernandes. We have Sergio Aguero, there's also Gerrard, there's Harry Kane, Van Persie, and the Manchester United legend Wayne Rooney.
I'm surprised that players like Kevin De Bruyne were not in that short list.
You know, there's a comparison on Twitter now.
Yeah.
Kevin De Bruyne versus Bruno Fernandes. Who is the better midfielder?
I'm surprised Kevin De Bruyne is not in that list. I'm surprised that Fernandes actually one is easy and all that. There are many other players in the league, Jack Grealish, who actually work so hard for their teams, and their names are in that short list. I get Bruno Fernandes had it lucky, having just people like Marcus Rashford, Martinez in that list. I think it would have been harder if he had Kevin De Bruyne, Jack Grealish in that team.
But I think Bruno has been outstanding.
No doubt. Yeah, I won't. But there are other players too who work so hard for their teams, who are the heartbeats of their team. They're not in that short list.
Okay. Well, talking about
I guess Bruno had it easy.
Yeah, but let's see. You know, it was Bruno versus a couple of other players, especially Mohamed Salah.
Yeah, Mo Salah.
And we'll get to see their performance tomorrow when Liverpool takes on Manchester United. Until today, I still do not know where to pitch my tent. And like you said, you wanted to sit on the fence. I don't know if you've changed your mind. Liverpool versus Man United.
Well, my heart wants Man U to win. My head says Liverpool will win. I don't know.
But Jurgen Klopp doesn't want to be a fan of mind games. He just wants to go out there.
He doesn't play mind games. He's a German. He's German. He's a Diamannschaft. They don't play games. They just come out and do their thing. However, I want to believe that Solskjaer should have learned enough of Klopp's tricks and what he might do tomorrow. So let's see. But give or take, whoever wins is going to be an explosive match. A match that everybody should watch. Whoever wins.
All right, Liverpool second on the log, 3 points behind Manchester United, who are top of the EPL table. And of course, they are celebrating it like they've won the Champions League trophy. But then, to be a great match to look forward to, if Manchester United gets to win that game against Liverpool, of course, they will go 6 points clear. And if Liverpool gets to win, they will go straight to the top. Of course, head-to-head. And goals differences between Man United and Liverpool. But it'll be a good one to look forward to. I'm talking about that one. I remember Aston Villa's game has also been pushed because of the outbreak of the COVID-19 that they've had in their camp. But then that's the much you can take today on Plus Sports Special on Plus TV Africa. I hope you enjoyed the package. And of course, that interview that Wale Scott had with the Quadris, talking about Yinka Quadris, the father to Sekinat and Mubarak, the boxers, young boxers that I'm sure they'll do great wonders.
She's only 9.
Of boxing. She's only 9. Wow. And I watched her clips and I felt like, no, I can't even engage this young girl before she will beat me up. And like the fact that she doesn't fight in school. And this is one thing that
was why I asked that question.
They get to train them. Yeah. You don't express anger.
Yeah.
But you look at, well, I think we'll talk about this because we need to go. Our producer and directors are saying, let's leave the studio. But I'd love us to talk about temperament and how we see street coaches, do they get to impact so much on these athletes? But I think it's something we'll talk about
another day,
on another day. But thank you very much, Wale, for what you did today.
Thank you very much, Udoka.
All right, keep it locked down to Plus TV Africa. I'll give you the very best when it comes to TV programming. I'm Udoka Njoku saying, please enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe out there. Remember, don't let the weekend weaken you.
First point of accountability is asking questions.
Hello and welcome to Plus Sports and Plus TV Africa. I am Udoka Njoku.
Hi everyone, welcome to Plus Training.
You cannot continue to recycle poverty while you're spending a lot of money on unproductive ventures.
The government has to feel the impact.
Honorable Commissioner, welcome to the show.
A lot of the jobs that exist today will not exist in the next 10 years.
10 years.
When I see people today shouting, we're not too young to run, we are ready to run. Ready to run to where?
The people of excellence are, to a certain extent, being held ransom by idiots and bandits.
Once you are in government, you believe everything you do is right. And once you are in opposition, everything the government does is wrong.
And so it's time for us to take over power.
Oftentimes when we see celebrities either on social media, television, or in person, we assume they have it all together, but we forget that they are also human. Well, here are some of the low points of some of your favorite celebrities.
So coming into Lagos and having to do like 5 jobs, at a time, just my life has always been a balancing act, Time was when I was in this town. Funny you mention it. This entire area, I hip hop around this area. I start from NTA and begin to work my way gradually, end up here at Peck Theatre, and then at the Onikon Museum, and then at Racecourse. Story for another day.
All right, so growing up, I wouldn't say I was born with a silver spoon, but I was okay. Dad had everything going on for us. And I lost him when I was 16. So at that point in my life, I had to start making decisions for myself, which was a bit difficult. And that was when I actually decided to become a DJ. When my dad was alive, he didn't want me to do entertainment. So I had to shape myself, take that decision. I remember leaving my house for 2 years at some point because I was chasing my dream. And all that basically has molded me into the man I am today.
I remember while I was in school, I would never imagine I would be the person today. I even, at some point, never had money to go to school. So what I would do, I would walk all the way to the bus stop and hope that when I get in the bus, I'll see a student like me that can pay for me before I get to Lasu Gate. But for real, life is like that, and we just take all these things and mold them into what makes us stronger. You mold all the struggle into dumbbell, use them to make yourself stronger. That's it. So for me, I can share a lot of experience with you that would make you drop your jaw and be like, you went through all this.
I personally, I never saw the 4 walls of a university. But I found myself now being able to inspire and speak to a lot of audiences. And it's all about self-improvement. Having that drive to, I want to be better than who I am. I want to move. I want to be a positive change. I want to impact positively on the people. It is just one making that honest decision to push themselves rather than looking for the shortest cut by doing all sorts of, hanky-panky nonsense. We can. Only you can.
I've been so broke that I had to walk from Maryland to Ilukweju because I didn't have 15-hour transport money for bus. So yeah, I've been through that. And I didn't want to call anybody. This was something that I was like, I got to go through this on my own because I decided to get into the entertainment industry and chase after my dreams. Left my job. I was tired of calling family, parents, my father, my mother, my guardians to say, yo, I'm broke, I was like, you know what, let's rough it, and I did. But here I am today.
One of my worst experience then was when I premiered on radio, the first 2 weeks was hell because people was calling the radio station to some said they should arrest me, some said they should sack me, some said they should they don't like my voice. They just feel say I be worried, but are they rude, Then not be now we be like say comedian go come. Then a few comedians they. So when you go strange land and I no go a day, then when you go that kind of area we be like say the only comedians where they know that and Ikemowo or Sophia Sin and you got they speak pidgin and say comedian that time if you hear person you go be like say you dey rude and those Igbo people they not they take a likely at all. So the first 2 weeks for my radio career they say me they sack me. First 3 weeks sef. So me and my friends what we they do? People go call the radio station, say me they sack me. We can go buy card, 90 card. So when those people they call, my friends will go try to call the radio station, say Mona leave am now our best presenter. But the funny thing is our calls not they go through. If we try call the radio station where they work, we know if they get the radio station. But the other people they call. And the village people. Yes, my village people, your blog the lie.
A few years ago, 2012 I think or 2013, I was on a music competition. I was in a music competition and one of the judges said to me, I still know him, I'm not going to call him out. So he said that he doesn't feel like singing is something I should ever think of.
How did that make you feel?
I didn't feel bad because I'm precious.
It is engagement we need to have.
Those who suffer miscarriages are never taken into account.
Members of the National Assembly are also influence peddlers.
Well, many thanks for joining us on the News on Plus TV Africa. I am Justin Akadonye. President Muhammad Buhari on Friday led top government officials and members of the diplomatic corps to honor the nation's fallen heroes. The event was the traditional laying of wreaths marking the end of the activities in the 2021 Armed Forces Remembrance Day. Buhari, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, President of the Senate Ahmed Lawan, Speaker of the House of Representatives Femi Gbajabiamila, and the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Tanko Muhammad, led the nation security chiefs to lay wreaths in honor of the fallen heroes. The solemn event was held at the National Arcade opposite Eagle Square, 3-Arm Zone, Abuja. The event featured special prayer sessions for living and fallen heroes, a minute's silence in honor of fallen heroes, gun salute, a release of doves to represent peace, and signing of the anniversary register, among others. A governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, has called on the federal government to change their security chiefs in order to allow for fresh ideas and strategy in tackling the threats to internal insecurity in Nigeria. Governor Wike made the call during the wreath laying and parade ceremony organized to mark the 2021 Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration in Port Harcourt.
Governor Nyesom Wike, who acknowledged the efforts made so far by the country's security chiefs in the battle against insurgents, noted that despite full military engagement with Boko Haram and killer bandits, the threats appear to be overwhelming the country's security agencies. Governor Wike said Boko Haram, bandits, and killer herdsmen have continued to overrun communities, randomly killing and abducting helpless people.
A country is as strong as its armed forces, and our inability to defeat the Boko Haram insurgency despite years of full military engagement shows that all is not well with our approaches and commitments to the battle against internal insecurity. Today, therefore, also raises the need for all of us to be worried by the deteriorating security situation across the country and restate the call on the federal government to do everything necessary to bring the security threat by Boko Haram and armed bandits to a decisive end in the shortest possible time.
The governor stated that all Nigerians are gracious beneficiaries of the various sacrifices made by the armed forces as they put their life in line to defend the country. Governor Wike reiterated the need to have an enduring reward system for officers and men of the armed forces to encourage them in their sacrifices to the country. He said his administration has continued to implement such financial support policy for security personnel of Rivers origin.
As a government, we believe that society must endeavor to move beyond the yearly ceremonial rituals and comfort speeches of today to provide adequate care and support to the families of every one of our soldiers. It is for this reason that we have since adopted and implemented a policy framework that guarantees some financial support for the immediate families of any soldier from Rivers State that pays the supreme price or suffers permanent disability at the battlefield in the course of his or her service to our nation. We have also fulfilled and continue to fulfill our promises and commitments to our veterans through the Rivers State chapter of Nigerian Legion. 2 days ago, we released the sum of 70 million naira to the chapter.
Governor Nyesom Wike was accompanied by the head of security chiefs during the march past, laying wreath and release of pigeon amongst others.
In the same vein, the Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has commended all officers in the military, Nigerian police and the Legion for their efforts in protecting the country against external aggression and keeping the peace internally. Speaking at the year 2021 Armed Forces Remembrance Day Parade and Reed Lane ceremony at the Remembrance Arcade, the governor said Nigerians should be thankful to God for celebrating this year's ceremony despite the COVID-19 pandemic. Governor Sanwo-Olu, while applauding the organizers of the program, said despite the current situation of the COVID-19 pandemic in the country and other parts of the world, they could keep up with the yearly ritual while adhering to safety protocols.
It's usually a yearly ceremony, and we're thankful that this year's ceremony could still also be observed. I want to congratulate and commend all of our officers in the military and also the Nigerian police, but more especially the men of the Legion, everybody that has participated in this year's Armed Forces Remembrance ceremony, the parade, the men on guard and everything. I think it's been also a testimonial and it's a yearly ritual that we're thankful to God that we can still keep this year's activity as important as it is. We're still able to observe all of the protocols, and you can see that everything has gone very, very well. It's just a 1-hour event, and we're thankful for the organizers that they've been able to put this together again.
Also, Governor of Osun State, Gboyega Oyetola, performed the traditional laying of wreaths. Plus TV Africa monitored the ceremonies in the state. Here are details of the report.
The Armed Forces Remembrance Day is an annual celebration of the fallen heroes and living legends of the armed forces, including those presently in active service. It is usually marked on the 15th of January at the federal, state, and local levels in the country. Osun State Governor Gboyega Oyetola applauded the nation's security operatives for sacrificing their comfort to ensure that the citizens enjoy required tranquility. According to the state helmsman, the patriotic conduct of the Nigerian Armed Forces in the face of threats defended the nation's sovereign integrity, peace, and unity. He acknowledged the invaluable contributions of the Nigerian Armed Forces to nation building, particularly their avowed commitment to containing the activities of terrorists and bandits across the nation. Oyetola, however, pledges renewed support of his administration to the cause and tasks of nation building, thereby assuring an improved state contribution and prioritizing of the welfare of the Nigerian Legion.
We shall continue to hold these loving memories very dearly in our hearts. Indeed, our continued existence as one people with common destiny pays enduring tribute to the heroic sacrifices. To all living heroes and gallant officers, you are our pride. Your dedication to duty continues to guarantee our collective peace and security. We assure you that your welfare and that of your families of the fallen heroes will continually be prioritized. Rest assured that you are constantly in our prayers and our one wishes are with you. You have put our interests first, so also shall we consider yours.
The Osun State Chairman, Nigerian Legion, Oladimeji Olalere, commended the state government for the yearly sponsorship of the occasion. He, however, called for improved welfare of legions in the state, also appealing to the state government to meet some of their pressing demands to ease their burden.
One of our most pressing challenges is this question of vehicle to ease our mobility, our movement from one place to the other. One. Secondly, we want the government to give us job placements. That is, we have some youth being raised from out of Nigeria Legion. If they get them employed, I think we'll be able to get something coming in as our income to cater for the welfare of the legionnaires generally.
It is expected that these will not only be once-in-a-year attention, rather it will be a constant reminder to treat these dependents as real beneficiaries.
Now, the Olowo of Kuta, Oba Adekunle Makama in Ayedire local government area of Osun State has lauded the Nigerian Armed Forces for sustaining the culture of care and protection for their severed and retired officers and men. Oba Adekunle gave the commendation in his goodwill message on this year's Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebrations. The monarch charged the rank and file of the Armed Forces to continue to key into the philosophy of a united, indivisible Nigeria, as contained in the Chief of Army Staff address, which harped on morale boosting and keeping in touch with families and dependents of the fallen heroes.
But we should stop in this 2021. Enough is enough. For us to overcome this crucial challenge, we should be patriotic enough to stop constant demoralization of our patriotic men. We should stop demoralizing them. They deserve our support, not unnecessary bashing that we are giving them. They are giving their whole life for you and I to sleep, close our eye. They are giving their life to do that. And we sit at the comfort of our home, castigating them. Where on earth? When you see an American citizen waving flag on ordinary private soldier, a recruit, but we are ready to tear our own into pieces.
Now, leaders of the Nigerian Legion have lamented lack of adequate welfare for legionnaires and families left behind. Some of the leaders who spoke in Port Harcourt urged government at all levels to care for the welfare of the wives of fallen heroes and to support in their children's education and empowerment.
As Rivers State joins the rest of the country to celebrate the 2021 Armed Forces Remembrance Day, Widows of the Nigerian Legion have lamented lack of adequate welfare for legionnaires and families left behind. Some of the widows who spoke in Port Harcourt urged government at all levels to care for the welfare of the wives of the fallen heroes and support in their children's education and empowerment.
We have so many things in vogue that we want the government to do. We have a land. We bought a land some years ago. I would like the government to help us. If we develop this land, we can put it in rent. In short, I bought this land because I wanted us to do agric. They trained us. But since there is no finance, there is nothing I can do. So the land is still there, lavishing for all the years. So if they can help us to establish that land, I'll be very grateful. Even though the governor have given us something to make us happy, if they can help us to develop, I think that should be every year we get something out of it and give to the local government that are concerned.
The governments, they've been trying, but I want them to try more to help us and see to the education of our children and to see we have some educated widows. If they can fix them somewhere, it will be better and it will go a long way in helping them.
They are supposed to be looked upon and make sure that their dues are being paid.
High point of the event is the march past, laying of wreath by the state governor Nyesom Wike, heads of security agencies in the state, release of pigeon, among others.
And away from all of that, the Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 8, Lokoja, Yunana Barbers, is dead. Acting Public Relations Officer for the zone, Inspector Ruth Awi, confirmed his death to newsmen in Lokoja. She said that Barbers, who was due for retirement in 2 weeks, died suddenly at the Federal Medical Center, Lokoja, on January the 14th. We're talking health now. The Niger Center for Disease Control has registered 1,867 new cases of COVID-19, bringing the total number of infections in Nigeria to 107,345. The NCDC disclosed this in its official Twitter handle on Friday. It said 8 people also died from the virus in the last 24 hours, bringing the death toll to 1,413. The center added that the new cases were reported from 23 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory FCT. The Public Health Agency said that Lagos State reported 713 infections, Plateau 273, FCT 199, Kaduna 117, and Oyo 79. Others were Enugu with 58, Ondo 53, Kano 49, Sokoto 43, Ogun State 37, Osun 37, Nasarawa 36, Rivers 28. The rest are Benue with 24, Delta 24, Niger 24, Gombe 18, Edo 15, Taraba 12, Bayelsa 10, Ekiti 9, Borno 6, Zamfara 2, and Jigawa with 1. The Director General of the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, says they are planning to use traceability with GS1 technology to monitor COVID-19 vaccine distribution using Global Trade Item Number GTIN. Adeyeye told newsmen at a virtual media briefing on Friday that the goal of using the GS1 technology was to prevent fake vaccines from infiltrating the supply chain and to ensure there was no diversion. According to her, NAFDAC is working with other organizations at continental level to enhance surveillance on vaccines and drugs on the continent. She explained that the agency was also on the Regulator Steering Committee of African Union, the 3S, that is Smart Safety Surveillance, with Ghana, South Africa, and Ethiopia. Now, Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State says government does not have the facilities to store the 1,800 vaccines allocated to the state by the federal government at minus 70 degrees centigrade. Here are details of that report.
At a press conference held at the Government House to address the second wave of COVID-19 and issues bordering on insecurity in the state, Governor Seyi Makinde noted that the number is also grossly inadequate. Therefore, the state is exploring all means of getting these vaccines to its people. He pointed out that between March 2020 and December 2020, the state conducted 20,000 tests, of which 3,000 were positive for COVID-19, admitting that COVID-19 is still very much around and urging residents to join hands with government by slowing down the spread by taking precautions.
From December 2020 to date, we have conducted a further 14,000 tests, and I've had about 696 positive cases. The federal government, from what we read, has allocated 1,800 vaccines for Oyo State. And again, this number is grossly inadequate. We're exploring other means of getting these vaccines to our people.
The governor also declared that the government will do everything possible to end the kidnapping and insecurity in the state by working with all security agencies, including the newly introduced Oyo State Security Network Agency, also known as Amotekun Corps. The governor maintains that the safety and security of all residents of the state remains a top priority to his government.
We're also putting in place other policies to address insecurity, especially with regards to youth restiveness. The safety and security of all residents of Oyo State remain our top priority. We'll continue to work relentlessly to tackle cases of kidnapping and insecurity in our state. I repeat that we will ensure that any member of the Amotekun Corps proved to have been high-handed in the discharge of their duties will face the full wrath of the law.
He also argued that some individuals want Amotekun to fail by feeding the public with all sorts of misinformation and fake news.
In another part of Africa now, according to partial result on Saturday morning, Uganda's longtime leader Yoweri Museveni held a commanding lead in the presidential election, though his main rival Bobi Wine alleged widespread fraud. The Electoral Commission said with ballots from 86% of polling stations counted, Museveni had won 5.3 million or 58.8%, while the main opposition candidate Wine had 3.1 million votes, that is 34.6%. The government ordered the internet to be shut down the day before voting on Thursday, and the blackout was still in place. Wine had galvanized young Ugandans with his calls for political change after 35 years of Museveni, who is 76, ruling the country. Meantime, opposition leader Bobi Wine and a group of journalists covering Ugandan presidential election fled from soldiers posted on the candidate compound in the capital Kampala on Friday. A video showed journalists frantically running before coming to a stop together with Bobi Wine on the grounds of his compound. Wine, the musician turned politician, had said his life was in danger as the government deployed armed security forces around his compound in Kampala. A peacekeeper of the United Nations multi-dimensional integrated stabilization mission in Mali, MINUSMA, has died of his injuries caused during an improvised explosive device attack in Mali's northeastern region of Kidal. A MINUSMA truck hit an explosive device on Friday near Tessalit, the region of Kidal. Then the two peacekeepers were seriously injured by the explosion. According to the agency, another explosive device was detected and then neutralized near the site of the explosion. Outside Africa, now Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has launched one of the world's largest vaccination campaigns as part of efforts by the populous nation to bring the COVID-19 pandemic under control, starting with 2 locally manufactured shots. On the first day, around 100 people will be voluntarily vaccinated in each of the 3,006 centers in the country. The government said this week, calling it the start of the biggest of such campaign in the world. Now, Modi, who addressed healthcare workers through video conferencing, will not immediately take the vaccine himself, as India is initially prioritizing 30 million nurses, doctors and nurses on the front line, followed by about 270 million older than 50 or deemed high risk. The build-up for next month's Australian Open suffered a jolt after 2 coronavirus infections were reported on a flight to the year's first Grand Slam on Saturday, forcing 2 weeks of hotel quarantine for 24 players and their entourage on board. The positive cases were recorded after the charter flight from Los Angeles landed in Melbourne on Friday for the tennis Grand Slam. Health officials in Victoria State said a NECRU member and Australian Open participant who is not a player had been transferred to a health hotel following positive test result for the new coronavirus. Players must train indoors in quarantine instead of being allowed out for 5 hours training per day. Now, Spain's Coast Guard has transported 34 migrants, including 20 women and 3 children, rescued in the Atlantic Ocean of Aguinguin port on the island of Gran Canaria on Friday night. Rescuers aided by Red Cross staff were seen lifting injured migrants from the rescue vessel on stretchers, while others were taken away in wheelchairs. The Red Cross said that during the migrants' journey into the Atlantic, 1 child died and his mother threw him into the sea. The number of undocumented migrants arriving in Spain's Canary Islands was more than 8 times higher in 2020 than in 2019. In business news now, the Shell Petroleum Development Company of Nigeria Limited has completed the process for sales of its 30% interest in oil mining lease OML 17 in the Eastern Niger Delta and associated infrastructure to TNOG Oil and Gas Limited for $533 million. Shell said it had received approvals from the relevant authorities of the federal government to complete the process. According to the statement, the TNOG Oil and Gas is a related company of Heirs Holdings Limited and Transnational Corporation of Nigeria, PLC. Away from business, in entertainment, the Foo Fighters and John Legend will join Kerry Washington, Eva Longoria and Bruce Springsteen at U.S. President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration celebration. The stars have all been added to the lineup for the Celebrating America TV special, which will be hosted by Tom Hanks after the Democratic Party leader and his Vice President Kamala Harris are sworn in at the U.S. Capitol. They have also promised the event will showcase the American people's resilience, heroism, and unified commitment to coming together as a nation. In sports news, Nigerian Football League's second tier, the Nigerian National League, will begin its 2020-2021 season on January the 30th. Director of Media and Communications at Nigeria Football Federation, Ademola Olajire, disclosed this in a statement on Friday. He said the decision on the date was reached at the league's annual general meeting held in Abakaliki on Friday. He said the league has been grouped into 4 as usual, with the participating clubs drawn into Northern Conference A1, Northern Conference A2, Southern Conference B1, and Southern Conference B2. Now, Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp does not consider Manchester United underdogs in this season's title race and has never seen them in that light. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's side moved 3 points clear of the Reds at the top of the table with a midweek win over Burnley and can stretch their lead further with victory at Anfield on Sunday. Now, despite their current position, the Red Devils are still being referred to in some quarters as not genuine contenders alongside Liverpool and Manchester City, but Klopp laughed that off. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's side go into the match on Sunday at Anfield in top sport, 3 points clear of Liverpool.
I'm 5.5 years, I think, roundabout in England. Not really, no, 5 years and 2 months. So, and United was never an underdog. They cannot be. It's just like it is. And so, in a moment, there are always good teams, always great players, really good coaches, managers, all that stuff was always there. And now they are top of the table. So that's how it is. So I don't know how then they cannot be underdogs. But we play at home and we don't see ourselves as an outsider or whatever, just because they are now ahead of us. But it's an open game. It was always an open game. Very often when we played United with different managers, so we had to be dominant in the games, especially because he was there. So like that's how it is.
And away from football, talking boxing, Anthony Joshua's promoter Eddie Hearn says a deal for the world heavyweight champion to meet Tyson Fury in an undisputed world heavyweight title bout this year is all but done, with a venue in the Middle East a front-runner to host it. Joshua beat Bulgarian Kubrat Pulev last month to retain his IBF, WBO and WBA titles to set up the prospect of a month-watering clash with fellow Briton Fury, who holds the WBC belt. Fury has not fought since beating American Deontay Wilder in the Las Vegas rematch in February to claim the WBC crown. Hearn said Joshua and Fury would face off in 2 fights, with the fourth likely to be in the Middle East later this year, and he hoped to bring the rematch back to Britain. Well, sports does it for us on the news this hour. For more updates, please follow us at Plus TV Africa on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram. And do subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa. We'll be back again at 2 p.m. with more stories. I am Justin Akadonye. Many thanks for watching.
For upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Bukky November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
A lot of the jobs that exist today will not exist in the next 10 years.
When I see people today shouting, we're not too young to run, we are ready to run. Ready to run to where?
The people of excellence are, to a certain extent, being held ransom by idiots and bandits.
Once you are in government, you believe everything you do is right. And once you are in opposition, everything the government does is wrong.
And so it's time for us to take over power.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Ladies Talking Business. On this episode, I'm nothing short of excited about our guest. Stephanie Obi is an author, a speaker, coach, and tech founder. She helps entrepreneurs create, launch, and sell online courses. She has worked with over 200 women to create their online courses. Thank you so much for joining me in the studio.
Thank you too. I'm happy to be here.
The queen of online courses in Nigeria. It is not what you have that limits you, but it's what you have but don't know what to do with it. Tell us what inspired that particular quote.
A man called Fela Durotoye.
Okay.
And it really hits me because I see this all the time when people people take what they know for granted, and they always focus on what they don't have. Oh, I don't have money, I don't have, oh, if only I had this, if only I had that. Meanwhile, they have wealth in their head, like they have knowledge that they can monetize, but it's just there sitting down doing nothing. And if only they can package that knowledge into an online course and sell it, they can sell it to Nigerians, they can sell it to Africa, they can sell it to people in any part of the world, and they can earn a healthy stream of income just by sitting down in their houses and getting credit alerts.
Now, this is something you do for a living.
Yes.
How many countries or how many continents have you been able to reach via training online?
Oh, I've stopped counting these days, but I remember the first time that I launched my first online course. It was such a, I was shocked at the number of countries that we reached. I was just, what year was this? 2013. I launched my first online course, and people from over 9 countries signed up. I was having people from Saudi Arabia, Tanzania. I'm like, what? Oh my God! Like, I didn't believe it, but it was happening. So now I've gotten used to it, and it's no longer a big deal for me. But I found that the internet is so powerful. When you just put something out there, you don't know how people somewhere will get a hold of it, and they can patronize your product.
But how did it all come about? How did you start this particular niche? Because it's quite foreign for some people.
So at the time, I had this hobby, Ankara accessories. I knew how to make Ankara accessories, so I used to make them. All right, and then one day I said, you know, I would like to teach other people how I make these accessories. I've done this thing for a while. I've earned so much money from it. It has helped me all. He helped me all through when I was in school, when I was doing my masters, my first job. Like, I always had this nice side hustle. So I said, just imagine if other ladies can also have an extra stream of income. You know, let me do some trainings for them. I did my first training. I planned it. I created, you know, work toolkits. I did all sorts of things, and nobody showed up. Nobody, not one person. And so, you know, it was a very it was very emotional for me. I cried and cried and cried, and after crying, I cleaned my eyes and I said, there must be something I did wrong. Let me figure out what it is. And I realized that I didn't market it properly. I didn't market it online. At the time, I thought that social media was a fad, and it would just, you know, after a while, all these buzz about Facebook would go. But when I saw that I had this training program, nobody attended it. I said, let me go and try social media marketing. Let me really put myself out there. And so I did this training. And the first class, 4 people came. I said, okay, all right, it's a good sign. It's a good sign.
A good place to
so
be.
I kept marketing it online, and then I started getting people messages from people in Yola, Ekiti State, Calabar. Stephanie, I really want to attend your training, but I can't travel right now. Can you come to my city? You know, I was getting messages from different places. I couldn't go to all these cities. And so I said, okay, what if I do an online course? What if I do an online training, and all these people can watch my training videos, and I don't have to travel to all these different cities?
It's exactly the same thing you'd have thought if you were present there.
Yeah. So I created the online course. It was an experiment. You know, I didn't really have a lot of expectations. Let me just see if it will work. This was 2013. The internet was not that, you know, a lot of people did not have access to data.
The internet bubble that we have now wasn't
and at that time, we even did not really have 3G, so your phone was always on GPRS, then you had to change the setting to 3G. So it was, you know, not everyone had access to smartphone, but let me just try. I did, and to my amazement, people paid for these trainings. People kept on paying for these trainings, and they kept on paying from different parts of the world. And it opened my eyes to this online education industry. And what I did not realize at the time is that this industry was already over worth $100 billion in the Western market, and it was very well developed. So people already knew what it was to create and sell online courses. But in Africa, we had not even hadn't even started, because we were just getting access to the internet and stuff like that. That's how I discovered it, and I've been launching online courses ever since then.
Because you see, even Harvard Business School now has their online platform where they are monetizing, you know. Well, let's talk a bit about people's skill and experiences. Do you think we're taking advantage of our skills and experiences well enough?
I think that we haven't, I'm talking as a country now, we haven't done so well. And the first problem is that a lot of people don't know that they can even monetize their knowledge. So people don't even know. So they have skills, they have expertise, but they just have it.
Or maybe they don't know how to go about it.
Yeah, so some just have it, they don't know anything about it. Some don't know how to do anything. Some don't know what to do. Some are a bit scared about tech. It looks complicated.
Oh my goodness.
And so because they don't want to start, you know, but it's a big opportunity that we can all take advantage of.
I mean, when people hear tech, I'm running away. And I don't know.
Yeah, so there's this widespread phobia. And it's very common among women. If you talk to women about creating online courses, the first thing they'll tell you is, hey, I'm not a techie. I'm not a techie. And you know what I always say? So when I was starting out my first online course, I had to build an online school. Like there's so many techie things I had to do because there were no platforms.
Did you have that background before?
I had a first class in computer science.
Okay.
And so I guess I wasn't scared of technology. Thank you. And so I could say I can figure this out. You know, I had that attitude. But I found that as I started helping women, they struggle with the tech. Not everybody is like me. Not everybody, you know, has studied, you know, computer science. Not everybody wants to do anything with tech. Some people have had very horrible experiences before, and so
now I've had my own experience. I wish share, but I've had my own experience.
Yes. So I was discovering all of this, and so we decided to then build a tech platform that makes it very easy for anybody to create and sell online courses. So we now have it. It's called Train Quarters. And so what I now tell people is that it's now so easy to now create and launch an online course because you don't have to be a techie, you don't have to know how to code.
You don't have to develop from scratch
If you can use Facebook, if you can use Instagram, you can use this kind of platform because we've made it easy for you. Just open an account and then you're good to go. So, but when I was starting, it was tough. And I will admit it, it was tough. Oh God.
I can't imagine.
There's so many things we have to figure out, but yeah, it's now easy.
So now you specialize in helping people monetize their skill online. How has this experience been for you? And what are the basic things that are necessary to create like an online platform?
So
first, for starters.
First of all, you need to be clear about what you want to teach. All right, just look, what do I have that I can teach? And the mistake a lot of people make is that they think it has to be one
something out of the moon.
Look, it can be anything. It can be how to cook. It can be how to style your hair. We have clients who have done courses in all these kind of topics. Very simple, easy-looking topics. But what somebody is very good at, and that person will be weak at that thing. So, you know, if you're good at something, don't think everybody is good at that thing. Some people don't know how to do it, and they want to learn how to do it too. So the first thing is to pick a topic. You have to just decide, I'm going to teach you this thing. And of course, you have to see whether there's a market for it. If I decide to teach this thing, are there people who are going to pay for this online course? That's the first thing, to validate your ideas. After that, the second step is that you structure your online course. Okay, this is going to be my outline. This is how I'm going to deliver the course. It'll be over 6 weeks, over 8 weeks. I will title it this. This is how much I'm going to sell the course. You know, that is just packaging the course, structuring it so that it becomes like an asset. It becomes property. You know, the next step is that you now start growing your audience because each time you want to, when you create a course, you are creating it for a set of people.
Yes.
When you want to market the course, you're marketing it to a set of people. So you need to have that audience that you're grooming and nurturing them, talking to them, attracting them. Because online, it's like it's kind of a scary place because you don't know if you're going to get scammed or if somebody's going to steal, you know, take your money and
there are quite a number of scammers.
Yeah, things like that.
You must say.
So you have to first of all, attract your audience. Then get them comfortable with you. Get them to trust you.
I think that's very important.
Yes, it's very important. So that they feel like, oh, if I send her money to pay for this online course, she won't run away with my money. She's going to give me the videos I paid for.
Yes.
So that's very important. Growing this audience and getting them to know you, to like you, to trust you, to rave about you, talk to their friends about you. When you have this audience, you can then sell your online course to them. And you can sell multiple online courses to them, but this time they'll easily buy from you because they now trust you, all right? And then, funny enough, the last step is to create your course content. Because all this is work. Growing that audience, getting them to trust you, that is where the work really is. But the last step is shooting videos and talking. If I wake you up from sleep and say, come and teach you this thing, you know it. So you just quickly talk about it. But the part that requires more work is getting people to trust you online.
All right, you talked about creating videos, for example. Do you have particular kind of cameras that you recommend that these people make use of? When they take a look at some of the videos you create, not some, all of them as a matter of fact, there's this crisp, pretty, almost very clear touch to it. What's the secret? Because honestly, I've seen some videos online, just the quality puts me off. Once what was this person thinking? Sometimes the person's head starts from here. What happened to the rest of your head is gone. So what are those particular things I should also take note of while creating videos for your online content?
One of the things I always think about is I think about how my viewer will feel when they're watching this course. So in particular, because I talk about tech, I know that they're scared of tech. I know that they already have fences up. And so I try to make them feel comfortable. So make the place look nice, make it look, so it's intentional. So you make the video, the ambience look nice. They enjoy watching you. They enjoy listening. They don't even know when they're like, okay, this is not that scary.
Tech in a pretty space.
Yeah, it's not that scary. But that's for my own audience.
Okay.
Now, if I was speaking to a different audience who did not care about all those, bells and whistles, you can make it, okay, guys, this is what we're going to talk about. We're going to do this, that. So it really depends on the audience you're speaking to and how you want to make them feel. That will then determine the ambience of your course, of your videos, the voice you use, the decor, like the background and all of that. It really depends on the audience. Secondly, there are no hard and fast rules about the equipment and all of that. If you don't want to get involved in it, you can just outsource it. If you want to do it yourself, you can get a camera. I don't like making the barriers to entry very high. So any camera you can afford, you can start with that.
Whatever phone.
The great thing about online courses is that you can launch version 1. After a while, you upgrade it and launch version 2. After a while, as your brand grows, you can look at those videos and say, this video is not what my brand. I need to
upgrade.
Scale up. Yeah, but what's very important is you start. So no matter what level you are, you can decide to do it yourself with whatever camera you have, or you can decide to outsource it to someone who can do it for you. Or you can even decide to record your slides, do video recordings, where you're just recording your slides. But it depends on what kind of online course you're teaching. When I was creating my first online course on how to make Ankara accessories, that one was a practical class, so I needed videos to show my hands and what I was doing. But if you're teaching something like maybe English, or something like communication, it's just me talking and I'm just explaining certain things to you. In that case, you can actually use a slide presentation and just record your voice over the slides. Yes.
How expensive is this? Do you need a capital of what? 100,000, 200, 300? So, because people tell you, I have the skill, but the money I don't have.
The beauty about this thing is that no matter where you want to start from, there's a way to go about it. If you want to say, I'm going to do DIY, you can just use your phone. You can use your phone, you won't pay anything. If you say, I want to go high tech, nice videos, I want the animation to go like this, that's all you pay for that. So it depends on what your budget is. Any amount.
All right, so we're going to hold on for a bit now.
All right.
We'll take a quick break. Remember, you're still watching Ladies Talking Business on Plus TV Africa. Do stay with us.
Politics has helped shape the decision of the polity, from conspiracy theories to good old-fashioned comic politics.
These are the result of tomorrow's election. You have it already, Abi.
I am not hungry. If I need appointment, all I need to do is to start praising government.
Plus, politics will fill the polls of the country, from friends to frenemies, even strange bedfellows, to clones and stooges. We go beyond the rhetorics and the drama to analyze the story behind the story.
Let everybody come and say.
The moment we stop having charlatans occupy political offices, we will curtail hate speech.
Plus Politics, not just another political show. It's about putting you, the citizens, in the know.
Thank you for staying with us. All right, Stephanie, let's just talk a bit about consistency. I know we touched a bit on it before we went on break, but when you're creating your online content, the need for consistency.
So there are different reasons why you need to be consistent. Number one, I'll start with
clarity of idea as well.
All right. So I'll start with the one that I'll start with one a lot of people like to hear about. Number one is the money. Now, let me tell you something. If you launch your first online course, let's say you just launched your first online course, you can make your first $1,000 from your first online course. If you relaunch it again, you can make more. If you relaunch it again, you can make more. I've seen clients go from $0 to $10,000 just by being consistent, relaunching the course over and over and over again. So that alone is enough motivation. But you know what I find? People who are led to teach people, they're teaching because they really want to impact lives. So that's another angle. When you start impacting lives, you will start hearing the stories of the lives that are being transformed. And if you just hear one testimonial, that can keep you consistent. I can remember that the first online course I launched, back again when I was in Ankara Accessories, one girl from UK sent me a message. She said, Stephanie, when I came on your online course, I felt I was very sad. I was out of a bad relationship, and so I didn't feel like, I didn't feel like I could do more with my life. I was broken. I came on your online course. I learned Ankara Accessories. I started my own business. I'm now making my own money. Like, I don't have to rely on men anymore. I feel confident. I feel like I can achieve something. I've always wanted to go to fashion school, but I didn't feel I was good enough. I applied to fashion school, and I got in. I want to tell you, thank you for changing my life. Now, this was just one of the testimonials I got. I kept getting testimonials consistently. And so what you find is that this business helps you to impact lives and also make money. So it's a win-win. So no matter what you're motivated by, if you're motivated by impact, it works. If you're motivated by money, it also works. So that would help you to become consistent because you wake up and say, the work I do is important. There are lives that need to be changed. And if I put myself out there, if I keep launching these online courses, their lives will be changed, and I'll also earn a stream of income. Yeah.
All right. What are those major challenges that your clients complain about before they start their online courses?
So there are a number of them. The first one is clarity, like you mentioned. I'm not sure what to teach. I'm not sure if anybody wants to learn this topic. I'm not sure if I'm good enough. Who am I for people to pay me? And I'm not techie, I'm not pretty enough, I may not make sense. And so what I find is that a lot of the challenges that they're going through is all in their mind. So something, over the years, there are things that have told them consistently that what they have is nothing, that they cannot be more or do more. So they're holding on to those limiting beliefs, and it holds them down. So when they come on the program, it's like war against these negative thoughts that I've held for so long. But when they break through, It's like when they break through,
they start to blossom.
You start seeing them doing all sorts of things that they thought that they couldn't do before. But now they can now, you know, you see them launching all sorts of programs. It's like they've come into their own now. So the biggest challenge really is the mindset. The second challenge they have is strategies. Okay, you've told me about launching an online course, but how? How can I do it?
I know what I want to do, but
how can I do it? How can I get these results? The third challenge is the tech. They're terrified of it, or they've tried it before, it couldn't work out, so they don't think that they are the kind of people who can launch online courses. But now that has been resolved because of our tech platform that we just launched, Train Quarters. So those are the major challenges that they have.
How can online course providers ensure that they remain their contents consistently add value to their clients? Are there certain questions you should ask yourself?
Yes, but before you ask yourself those questions, you also have to ask the audience. So let me explain this. An online course is not just about you selling your knowledge or selling information. An online course is a solution to a problem. So before you create an online course, you must have identified the problem. These people are complaining about X, Y, Z. So when you come and say, when you come to the online course, you're asking, what can I teach them that will help them to resolve that problem that they have? So your course, when you're creating your curriculum, you'll be asking yourself, what's the first thing they have to know? What's the second thing they have to know? What's the third thing they have to know? All right, so you are asking yourself questions in response to the problem you have identified. So the first step is to go and do the research and to hear people complain about a particular problem. Then you go back and say, okay, based on the results I've achieved in my life, how can I help this person? Now, that when you go and do that research, there are times where you will say, this problem, I cannot solve it. It's not my problem. Maybe another person will solve it. But then you will also hear problems that you can solve. So your online course will focus on solving those particular problems. Now, if you focus on solving problems for people, that's the only way you can remain relevant. Because they will continually thank you when they've gotten results.
They'll keep coming.
They will keep referring, referring your work. They will go to the hilltop and scream it that, oh God, this course changed my life. And because of that, a lot of people will sign up for the course. So that's why you will see online courses. The first time they launch, maybe 10 customers. Second time they launched, and they now have testimonials from the first set. They can double their number of customers. They can triple. They can grow times 10. And each time they keep relaunching, as they are relaunching and showcasing the testimonials of people who have been through the program, more people keep signing up.
We need to leverage on these online platforms more, but we see that some businesses are still very comfortable using the traditional methods of selling.
Well, you know, like what they say, the day you wake up, it's your morning. The day you wake up is your morning. Sometimes when you see people doing stuff online, you don't realize how much they're making. When you start hearing how much people are making from doing online courses, you will wake up.
Oh, wow.
Especially because, you know, the thing about online courses is that you just do it once. You do the video recording once. And then you start selling those set of videos over and over and over again. Now, if you compare that to you always doing always expending energy, doing physical training, and then you have to pay for the hall, pay for food, pay for power, pay for this, pay for that. If you just do the numbers, you see which one is more profitable. So some people have just not seen the business opportunity, but one day they will see it. And
this particular conversation requires a lot of marketing, which some people may not be able to do themselves. So how would you advise that they push, you know, these platforms?
Well, especially if you're speaking to consumers, like individuals, there's no business, B2C related business that does not involve marketing. So if you are somebody who doesn't like marketing, it's a bigger problem. It means that other parts of your business will suffer. Yeah. So
this is something you have to outsource if you're not the...
I would say that you need to just deal with the reasons why you don't like marketing. Yeah, deal with it, because, you know, marketing and sales is the soul of the business. So it's what keeps money coming in consistently. So if you have a problem with marketing your business, then there's a bigger problem.
Plus
We have to then deal with why are you not comfortable marketing your business? Do you feel like you're not giving value? If you're giving value, I want you to think of, I like to paint this picture. Imagine somebody has headache and you have Panadol. Or you have a brand that can, a drug that can solve that person's problem. Or the person has a disease or something, and you have a solution to that problem. Are you going to stay down in your house and say, I don't like marketing, let that person die? Is that not wickedness? Marketing is saying, I have a solution. Let me come out so that people who are suffering can see my solution. That's how to look at it. So it's not about forcing your product down people's throats. It's about saying, let me go out there and showcase my solution. People who need this will pay for it. And when you go with that mindset, it's not difficult to market an online course or any other product that you have.
And I think one of your selling points, I must say, at this at this particular juncture is your smiling, because I think that is one thing that everybody wants to come to your page and see you smiling.
Oh,
if you're running an online course, I don't want to see you. Well, is this supposed to be the person teaching me for the next 1 month?
Let me tell you something. It's just my own brand. Because some people come and see me smiling and they're like, oh, this girl, she's smiling. She does not know serious business because she's smiling. Let me go to somebody who, wears suits, jacket, and be serious face. So you attract your tribe. So I've attracted a tribe of people who want to see a smiling face, happy people, and at least they are smiling as we're talking about the tech. All right, but some other people want somebody who's a bit more serious and stern, uptight. To each his own.
Man know your business, know your tribe, and just stick to it. Thank you so much for joining me in the studio. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you. And that's all on Ladies Talking Business. For more content of this nature, do follow us on Plus TV Africa on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also follow my social media handles at Ubani Irene on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Thank you and bye. Until next time, I remain your host, Irene Ubani.
Contrary to popular belief, Corona is not a hoax. The virus is real. Be responsible. Wear a mask. Wash your hands with soap and water and avoid crowded places. Maintain physical distancing. Be responsible. Together, we can overcome the pandemic.
Praise God, from whom all blessings flow. Welcome to your favorite program, The Moment of Truth, brought to you by the Citadel Global Community Church. Our God is a God of salvation, far above all principality and power and might and dominion, that regardless of what happens in this season, you will escape. Say to your neighbor, there is no peace for the wicked. The special anti-robbery squad who are now killing innocent citizens instead of dealing with robbers. Your axe will catch up with you. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might.
Moment of Truth with Pastor Tunde Bakare, Sundays 7 p.m. on Plus TV Africa.
I say entrepreneurship is like faith. Faith is substance of things hoped for, an evidence of things not seen.
I honestly think I have what it takes to be successful. Not only being successful, but I believe that I have what it takes to build a very strong company, a brand that survives even when I have left.
Because my kids lives in Canada, they ask, what do you do in Africa? So they think Africa is, Lion King, it's a jungle. So they were amazed to say, what do you do in Africa, Dad? So I say computer. I say, no, computer with the lions?
So entrepreneurship is that you create these things in your mind, you can't touch them. They're just ideas in your mind, and you hope and believe that they'll become things.
for me, I understand it's where you want to start up a business. You come up with a plan, an idea, maybe where you want to have your business and what you want to do.
So startup is like when you are starting your business or any idea that you have and you want to put it in practical way.
Startup is a businesses that are just being invented, or someone has just found an interest in a particular product and they want to introduce it into the market.
The quality of a good startup, one, is maybe you have an idea. You cannot just start up a business without an idea.
Definitely you have to address a particular need. You have identified your market and you've seen a niche, so you have to bring into your startup to fill that gap.
The startup phase is when you have dreamt of an idea to be able to solve a certain solution in the community. You bootstrap the process, and then you get to the point where you have a viable product or viable service that you're showing to people. Could be the first 3 to 4 years of your work, right, where people don't know you yet. But once you're making an impact in the lives of people, you're solving a specific problem. That, for me, it's just the beginning, it's a startup, right? And then, of course, you go to the point where you've done this for several years. You're seemingly successful, and therefore people are asking for your service, or you're bringing in new products.
Yeah, I'm good.
Now let me be serious. My name is Ronald Hakiza, and I am a co-founder at yugabus.com. I am 27 years of age, of course making 28 very soon, and I come from Kisoro. I'm single, I'm not yet married. I work at Yugabus, and Yugabus is an online bus ticketing company. So we offer travelers or anyone who is traveling by bus a web and mobile application to book any bus to travel anywhere across East Africa.
My name is Eunice Mainamburu, the CEO and founder of BSmart Insurance. BSmart is an online integrated insurance platform that enables customers to choose the right insurance for themselves. This is through comparing from multiple insurance companies.
My name is Kimenyi Mabre, and I'm CEO of Algorithm. And we produce software, and which called Ishiga software. You know, we are in an information era where when you know, you are more rich than someone who doesn't know. We produce software, and which called Ishiga software. Ishiga was created 10 years ago, starting in Canada. I was working in a night shop where they was using a software. Then I was impressed how they do their reports easily, how my bosses, my managers can see everything without even being there. The problem pharmacists was facing before we came in is the administrative work, let's call it like that. In a pharmacy, they have to manage insurances prices. We have like 18 insurances. Everyone is dropping his prices. They have drugs. Drugs, they expire. They are not like other goods. And when it expired, you can't give to someone. Every pharmacy was isolated, every warehouses. So there was no way these people can see their data in one master data. So we created Ishiga Live, which was taking all this data. So all this headache, we try to resolve them inside our software, putting them in the cloud. So if you are anywhere, you can come and view your data. You can make one giant supermarket because you are inside, but to make a chain of pharmacies or supermarket, you need software to manage all the data, to know everything everywhere. every time, so you can control the finance, the stock, the inventory. So we are working with hotels and bars. So waiters use this tablet, and they can order in front of you. They can order your goods, what you want. Then it goes directly in the kitchen. Then they can start preparing it, or drinks. There is a mentality. So this is a challenge which we will be facing soon. It's the mentality of African business or governments, where they don't trust like African solutions, especially in software. Challenges faced was two. One was to find skilled people, and the second was to find big contract which can sustain our company. We trained 20 to 40 students from undergraduate. We give them the way how to code in industry. So from there we take 5 top. So this fixed the problem of skills. How I'm different is when I started the company, I used to do things myself. Now everything is not connected to me. The business has to run without me. Nothing is magic here. Everyone who arrives somewhere is working day and night. You sleep when you have to sleep. To do it outside funding, it's a family like spirit. You do with what you have. So you try using, like even Steve Jobs or this big, like Mark Zuckerberg, all started in garage. So all you need is really to find this garage and try to do this small stuff.
For money to come in, we had to allocate ourselves responsibilities. I was in charge of marketing. My colleague was in charge of growth and managing developers. So when we allocated each other responsibilities, then we moved to finding the resources to make sure this company works. Because when we are just starting, there's no profit being made. You get it? And then that is when someone walks up to me, and who could be my aunt, and says, you know what, I will support with some startup. You get it? Some little money. And then from there, everything else starts falling into place when the business has taken shape. You get it? Yeah. By taking shape, I mean when you can wake up one morning and be sure that at least even if I am not there, someone traveling to Nairobi, to Kisoro, to Kigali, to Juba will be able to still get served.
I would have started more leaner.
Lean startup means is that you are looking at your processes, right? And you are trying to cut off some things that you think are not really needed at the moment. Do you get it? So for example, if you look at your financial model, what you think you could spend on that particular product, select a particular target market, look at actually what you actually need to be able to bring that product and then build upon as time goes on. You want to learn faster. You want to pivot faster than anybody. So it's, and that relates to failure. You have to fail sometimes. Do you get it? Because as you are trying to learn, you want to fail and see how it works, whether it works or it doesn't work. So when you fail with that, it tells you that, okay, this didn't work. You try the next one, you pivot. And then that is what lean startup means.
So we advise young people, startups, start lean, start small. Start small, but knowing where you want to go. The moment the business keep on growing, keep on filling the core strategic areas and the core positions for your business.
You know, we started big, whereby even the amount we were paying the staff, our expenses were quite high. So I would lower the cost of running the business, start small, you know, designing with customers one by one without thinking of before scaling. When I got into insurance, I discovered there's a lot of friction between insurance companies, insurance agents, and customers. And every day I kept asking, why, how can we reduce this friction? Because customers would complain. I get to know that I was not covered when there's a claim. And the insurance, from their point of view, they have given all the information through a policy document. So I needed to understand what is the real problem. Most of the young people have their income is not consistent. So how do we enable them accept insurance as a risk mitigation solution to their financial issues? And also, how can they access it hassle-free, conveniently, and at the comfort of their mobile phone?
Someone hit my vehicle, and the process was so long and tiresome because we kept calling the office, and it took like over 1 month to get the vehicle repaired, yet we were on comprehensive cover. So we felt that it would have been faster had we had someone who is assisting us with all the customer care process and all that stuff. Working with BSmart, I think I've loved their services. I don't get to deal directly with the insurance company. I deal directly with BSmart, which makes my work so easy because I just need to sit back and they'll handle everything else. Like I really don't need to walk into an office and get the insurance there and all that stuff. And just a click away, so to speak. We're in the digital era. We are in the 21st century, and things can be done in a better way. Things can be done in an easier way. So you find that if we have the startups that are bridging the gap, then it just works out very perfectly for the rest of us here.
The problem we are solving is actually in the insurance sector. The penetration of insurance in Kenya is very low. And actually in Africa, apart from South Africa, most of the African countries, the insurance penetration is very low. Now, when you look at the demography of Africa, we have a very young population. Median age, 19 years old. And the insurance has been selling the same old products, the same way, same distribution channels, but then it means they cannot access the current customer. My lifestyle has changed. It has become simpler and easier. You see, when you're employed, you're a bit extravagant because you see, you know that every month there'll be more money, and so you can spend as much as you can because there's more money coming. And of course, the things that drives you when you're employed are different from what drives you when you're an entrepreneur. When I was quitting my job, I thought that when you quit job, you need a big office, many employees, so that then that's a measure of success. Look at today, I think different. It's how lean can I scale my business? How can I scale my business without increasing my costs? So those are the things that I look at. And one of my biggest challenges was the funding. When I was quitting my job, I had estimated that my savings would last me for 2 years. And before the end of the year one, the finances were over. Yeah. The other challenge was, you start this journey, you need a team, you need people who will believe in this dream, not because you're paying them a lot of money, but because they are here, they believe in your vision. Having people come online just because we have talked about it and buy through our platform, and counting them to now over 700 of them, for me it's a big deal. It's quite a big success. And in 10, 15 years, we hope to have democratized insurance. When I say democratization of insurance, whereby it's an open market that anyone can get in and get, whatever products they want. And how we do that is that we're building an infrastructure that will be able to connect customers and insurance companies and existing social African social groups and institutions to all be able to pull their risk together. Our expenses were quite high, so I would lower the cost of running the business, start small and with the customers, designing with customers one by one without thinking of before scaling. I think the first one was to quit my job. That's very important. There is no worse decision. Yes, because even that decision has really taught us a lot. So I would say, for me, it's not about whether the decision is good or bad. It is a decision has to be made at the time it needs to be made. My mantra is, whether it is right or wrong, make the decision. You will learn the lessons as you progress.
From around the world. Let's go.
Hello, welcome to Straight Talk Africa, live from the Voice of America headquarters here in Washington. I am Shaka Sali. Straight Talk Africa, we call it like it is. We discuss issues that reflect the interests of our audience without fear or favor. We are guided by facts, and I look at myself as a servant of nothing but the truth.
I was supposed to travel to Kisoro for burial, and I spent the day very busy. I couldn't go to the bus park to book a bus and then come back to do whatever I'm doing, and then go back to the bus park. So in the evening when I'm going to travel and I really want to book a bus, I find that they are full. So while I'm there, a gentleman walks up to me and says, hey, if you really want to travel, then I have a ticket for you. I want you to travel, but I'm not traveling, so if you can add 10,000 shillings, I can give you this ticket. I'm like, okay, I'll add the 10,000 and get the ticket. And then I get onto the bus. Now when time for inspection comes, like when you're in a bus, they always inspect to see if you have a ticket. The guy inspecting tells me I have a fake ticket, and therefore I need to get off the bus or I need to pay for the ticket, for another ticket. Now that was the time when I was just done with university and I was broke, and the money I was going to pay was the money I thought would bring me back. So I pay the extra ticket. Now, when I come back to Kampala, I come back determined to find this guy because I thought this guy is in the bus park and I knew I could find him. And if I could find him, I would get him to give me back my money. At that time, 40,000 was a lot of money. It is still a lot of money. Yeah. So while in the bus back, looking for that particular gentleman, because I could remember the face, one other guy tells me, Wekoya, you're just making, you're just wasting your time. This happens every single day. In there, I realized that there were many passengers who were failing to book buses on time, and they were falling in the hands of such guys. Therefore, they were losing money. So I said to myself, I think there has to be a better way people book bus tickets. The problem that Yuga Bus is addressing is the inconvenience that passengers have to go through in being able to book bus tickets. The whole inconvenience of you lining up at bus stations. The whole inconvenience of you having to go through the crazy traffic jam to be able to reach the bus station. The whole challenge of you having to move from bus to bus, trying to find out which bus has space and which one does not have space. The whole challenge of you having to ask yourself how much do they charge, which buses go to this particular destination. Each single day I see people asking, which bus goes to this town? And I'm like, okay, just check it out on your phone. So all that entire problem that people face in using buses is what YugaBus is addressing through our digital products. So YugaBus will display a screen where you're supposed to put in where you're coming from and where you are going. Now let's assume you're going to Kisoro. And then you have your ticket. So the time of set off, you just display this particular SMS at the bus and you travel. It's as simple as that. You don't have to line up at the bus station or do anything. YugaBus.
I use YugaBus. When I learned about YugaBus and the excellent benefits, I found out that YugaBus saves time. When I'm busy doing my work, I log into their app and book the ticket. By the time I arrive, I find that my seat is reserved and they give the exact time that I asked for. That is why I use YugaBus.
One of the most common things is that I am always wearing YugaBus from Monday to Monday, and I've done that for the last 2 years. Like if you met me on Kampala streets, you'll find me either wearing a YugaBus t-shirt or a YugaBus shirt, no matter the day, whether it's a Sunday, Saturday, or whatever it is. But also, most importantly, YugaBus has taught me to care for the community. That if I care for the problems of other people, then I derive value out of caring for the community and also trying to ask myself, how best do I address the exact challenge that the community is facing, that the community I stay in. And also, most importantly, YugaBus has helped me understand how to handle my finances. Like, I mean, if you can carefully mobilize resources for the company and then also be able to allocate resources in the way they are supposed to be allocated, but also, most importantly, make sure that those resources don't go to waste, you realize that those lessons later on come from the company to my own personal life, and I'm a better human being.
The advice to someone who wants to be an entrepreneur, who wants to start something, is first to find that thing. You have to find it, you have to like it, and you have to find negative people to try to break you down. You have to go in a shaking environment. We call it piscine, like it's a pool. You go in a pool, when you are alive on the other side means you are good. So that's the first thing. You have to see something you believe in and which you can be shaken.
For someone who wants to become an entrepreneur, I think the best advice for them is to start. They just can't wait to have everything. You can't wait to have the right team, you can't wait to have the money, you can't wait to have the right idea. You just start. Eventually the idea modifies itself, the customers modify themselves, and even the right team comes on board when the problem you are solving is actually in existence.
It's important to have some experience when it comes to running a business. And I always say, volunteer. If you can't find a job, volunteer to work with somebody who you admire and learn how to run a business.
The second thing is to be ready to work, because nothing is magic here. Everyone who arrives somewhere is working day and night. You sleep when you have to sleep, not when you need or someone is telling you. You sleep when it's the time to sleep. Other time you really work hard because you are not alone. Your competitors are not sleeping. They have more resources. So have the passion, have that thing you want you like, then go for it. Go for it. Don't wait funds. Don't wait positive people to tell you. Just you have to believe and go for it.
Like I remember when we were just starting out, I used to think that at the moment you have an idea, you're successful. until when I realized that, oh my God, an idea is just 2% of the entire venture. And then I thought to myself, okay, if we have the mobile app, then we are done. Until I realized that, oh, the app is just 10% of the work. Then I used to think that, you know what, if you build a very great product, customers will respond. No, instead you find the customer, address their problem, and then they come on board eventually.
When the idea comes, please test it. And how do you test an idea? Test with your customers. Don't just build apps for the sake of building an app. An app, an application or technology is supposed to solve problems. It's not supposed to be the business. So you need to identify the problems that you're solving and then build technology to solve that problem.
We don't have too many occasions to give our story. We are in machines every time. We think the machine is it's the magic thing, you know. And that's the stars. You guys, you think camera is the magic thing. We think the computer can do everything.
For upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Cross Trending. I am Vicky November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Gloss TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Politics has helped shape the decision of the polity, from conspiracy theories to good old-fashioned comic politics.
These are the results of tomorrow's election. Okay, you have it already, Abi. I am not hungry. If I need appointment, all I need to do is to start praising government.
Plus, politics will fill the polls of the country, from friends to frenemies, even strange bedfellows, to clones and stooges. We go beyond the rhetorics and the drama to analyze the story behind the story.
Let everybody come and say. The moment we stop having charlatans occupy political offices, we will curtail hate speech.
Plus Politics, not just another political show. It's about putting you, the citizens, in the know.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Africa on the Move in partnership with DW. I'm Femi Unajefe. On this episode, we'll be focusing on different individuals across the continent doing interesting things, from giving children born in prison a chance to get an education to cleaning up the beaches and recycling plastic. We start up in Zambia with the woman popularly called Mother of Millions. She gives children born in prison a fighting chance.
Number one, where are you? Number one, where are you?
For these children who once lived in the largest prison in Lusaka, education is a luxury, and Faith Masupa has made it possible for them.
Yes, this is a green one. How many dogs are here?
A few years ago, she founded an organization called Mother of Millions. It looks after women prisoners and their babies in Zambia's capital and helps them adjust to the world outside after their release.
The only thing that Mother of Millions wants to do is to ensure that the women get training and are able to stand by themselves, independent in the community, because sometimes it's hard to reintegrate into community or society, you know, because of the stigma that goes with it.
Mother of Millions is supported by donations. The organization is often short on cash, so classes for the children are usually held in Faith's home. Faith then drives the mothers to a training center. The ride takes them past the city's central prison, which houses over 1,000 inmates, men, women, even children.
When I was pregnant with my son, I decided to pass through the prison on my left, and I was shocked to find children in prison. The conditions of these children were pathetic. Children were subject to the same portions as their mother. They were sleeping in cells like their mother, and they were treated as prisoners, and today they are called circumstantial children. We decided to make a difference by creating a classroom and impacting the lives of these children.
Classes continue after the women are released from prison. Mothers learn how to run small businesses so they can generate a source of income.
These are questions. Implementation is to differentiate. We're trying all the best to ensure that they get an education in literacy, learning, and business skills. And by so doing, they are able to stand independently on themselves.
Faith often has to teach the children the most basic skills. 4-year-old Joseph is on his first excursion after life in prison. There's much to discover. Faith is nearby, keeping a watchful eye.
This is the first time Joseph has been in such an open place, such a place where he can feel like a child again. And that's his right. I think he's enjoying what is happening to him. I'm happy for him.
Joseph now enjoys his freedom. But for the many other children still living in Zambia's prisons, Faith Masupa plans to build the first school behind prison walls in Zambia.
From saving children to registering their birth, we head to Ivory Coast, where a young man has come up with an ingenious idea to register births via text message.
It's late in the evening and Jean Delmar is still hard at work in his office in Abidjan. He's a computer specialist working on a project to use smartphones to register babies in rural areas. There are many moments when I just want to give up. Even more as I heard that a big company I already talked with is implementing a similar project. But I'm not discouraged. The next morning he visits Songon village. Jean Delmar is looking for young mothers to help him test his invention. His goal is to persuade the Ivorian government to implement his program and not the one offered by a competitor. These women are taking part in the test registration. We are IT experts. Why can't we recommend a very simple solution, which can be easily applied to register births? You have been following the process yourself. I say to myself, we are all guardians of our villages. Children without an official birth certificate become phantom residents who cannot be registered in a school, get an identification card, and later be able to vote. Officially, they don't exist. It's a problem not only in Ivory Coast. UNICEF estimates that more than a third of children worldwide are undocumented. In the past, parents in Songon had to travel for 2 hours to the next registration office. But with the SMS service, this would no longer be necessary. The registration is much more than a formality. It's vital for living, according to Nadej Kuma, a housemaid. I can hardly manage with what I earn. I have my house and I have to pay for all of that. Quite honestly, I cannot make it. But she has registered her daughter. I wish for my daughter to go to school and become a good person. I didn't go to school. That's why she has to, so that something can become of her and that she can achieve something in her life. In the evening, we meet Jean Delmar again in his office. He checks whether all the data arrived. But Jean cannot do anything with it because the government is still blocking his project. My dream is that we can soon implement Mon Libar not only in Ivory Coast, but also in Burkina Faso, Niger, Togo and Benin. With that, millions of children could get legal identities. Meanwhile, Jean Delmar is not giving up, so that the 2,000 babies he has already registered through his system get official documents soon.
Now, this is a brilliant idea I think the entire continent should adopt, especially as we have a high birth rate in Africa and we need to keep the records. Now, our next story is from the Democratic Republic of Congo. When you hear about DR Congo, you think of war. But what if I told you they make some of the sweetest cheese in Congo? Take a look.
These lush fields are the secret ingredient that makes cheese from eastern Congo so delicious. At least that's how dairy farmer Nietegeka Canisius tells it. He's been raising cows and producing Gouda cheese in his small wooden shack for over 20 years. His main tools are 2 bathtubs and a so-called cheese harp. This is the most important part. I need to keep moving this through the thickening milk so that we can skim off the whey. That way, the cheese achieves the right consistency. Canisius lives in the mountains of North Kivu province in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, about 50 kilometers northwest of the provincial capital, Goma. It's an area that has seen little calm over the years, with countless armed groups active in the region. More than 4,000 UN peacekeepers are trying to maintain some semblance of security. The conflict is fueled by the pursuit of valuable minerals, including gold and coltan. And it's the local communities that suffer. Canisius is lucky. His wooden shack has so far been spared. This has allowed him and his brother to continue developing their cheese business. On a good day, they produce a couple of dozen wheels of cheese. When I was a boy, I dreamt about making cheese. Working with cheese is something special for me. Cheese is delicious and healthy. And my cheese is the reason why my family and I have enough money. Belgian monks first brought the skill of making cheese to Congo. Before long, the local people developed a taste for this dairy product. But only a few learned the art of making cheese. Canisius learned the trade from an old farmer who lived nearby. He was obviously a good student. I don't know how he makes it, but I just love this cheese. Over the years, Canisius has found buyers for his cheese in Goma, where a kilo of cheese in a store sells for between 2 and 3 euros. I'm proud of what I've been able to build by making cheese. And I hope that I can pass on my skills to at least one of my children, who would then take over the business. Making cheese in the hills of eastern Congo is hard work. In order to transport his cheese to Goma, the farmer first has to carry his wares to the next road. 5 kilometers across the fields with 30 kilos of cheese balancing on his head.
We'll take a quick break and be right back.
Today's top stories are...
And the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria. I'm here at Yunus Bashorin Street where the
fire destroyed our transformer completely.
Thanks for staying with us. Now, have you traveled across Africa? We have one of the most beautiful beaches in the world. But sadly, the beaches are often littered with filth. A group in Mozambique is determined to keep the coastline clean.
All kinds of garbage litter Miramar Beach in Mozambique's capital, Maputo. A group of a couple dozen volunteers spend their Saturday collecting the garbage. The man responsible for the cleanup operation is environmentalist Carlos Serra Jr. Since forming last year, the group has removed garbage from 4 provinces in 15 cleanup operations like this. They share the results immediately via Facebook and WhatsApp. When we first announced on social media that we are going to do a cleanup, no one cared. But now we've already done 15. And when we announce it now, people say, look, those people don't stop. So I'm also going to think twice before I throw my trash away. Trash obscures Mozambique's natural beauty. With no public trash cans at the beach, garbage can quickly grow. Sorting through the sand for bits of broken glass is a tedious task, but 25-year-old Mauro de Brito believes it has to be done. Do you really believe you'll be able to clean up this entire beach? Well, I would like to leave it really clean. I will do as much as I can. What I cannot do is do nothing and leave this glass. I can at least make some small improvement. At the Mozambican Ministry of Land, Environment and Rural Development, Carlos Serra Jr. heads the legal team responsible for environmental policies and legislation. He says his work has become more effective since he joined the ministry in 2015. It's a matter of putting the government machinery into motion, and it works. It's much easier for an institution like this ministry to approach other public and private institutions or civil society organizations and mobilize them for a common cause. Around 15 kilometers away from Miramar Beach, the mangroves which act as natural filters on the coast are also clogged up with trash. Carlos tells the activists that garbage not properly disposed of in urban areas has a direct impact on marine life once fish and other inhabitants of the sea feed on it. Activist and law student Leopoldina Gouveia reacted immediately. It was an instinct. I can't eat fish anymore. I just can't. I haven't got the courage, because to eat fish is to eat trash. Because the fish eat the garbage we throw into the sea. The animals eat the waste we throw away. Carlos Serra Jr. wants to change society's mentality concerning how people deal with waste. He wants Mozambicans to understand the value of nature and appreciates its beauty as he does. It is important to contribute to a process of change, to help people stop doing things the same old way, to show that doing nothing is very wrong. But it could take some time for environmental awareness to become the norm here. Judging by this weekend, the activists still have a lot of work to do to keep Mozambique's beaches clean.
From picking plastic bottles to recycling bottles, Cameroon is beginning to take the recycling business seriously.
For most Cameroonians, it's just trash. But for Pierre Kamsouloum, it's a valuable resource. His plan is to introduce plastic recycling to Cameroon on a large scale. When we were children back in the village, we often sat around the fire and burned old plastic bags. They melted, and we made balls from that. But this is not about toys. By adding sand, the molten plastic is mixed into a paste and pressed into molds. Most of the people working here are youths from underprivileged families. They are learning a skill that will be greatly needed in Cameroon, producing cobblestones and slabs. This project is just some few weeks old, and there's a lot that needs to be accomplished. We lack breathing masks. I still have to find them. I want them to wear breathing masks, especially when replacing the filter. The project has been made possible by the man who was the world's best footballer in the 1990s World Cup. Roger Millar, who is now a soccer ambassador, is funding it through his foundation, Cœur d'Afrique, or Heart of Africa. When you have finished your football career, you have to find something you can do. I decided to look for ways to help Cameroonian youths. Millar has made his cobblestone workshop his flagship project. This morning he's taking around a friend to see the work that's been carried out. Georges Seba is a Cameroonian French pop star visiting the capital, Yaoundé. I saw a documentary on television about it and was very much interested to have a look. I think it's something that really needs to be supported. For years, Pierre Kamsolum traveled through Africa trying to sell his idea. Eventually, Roger Millar brought him back to Cameroon. Now, together with his girlfriend, he's looking for a house. At the moment, he lives with one of Millar's employees. I think it's time I took full responsibility for my life and have a family. The next step is that we would like to get married. Pierre's project promises more stability in his life. He wants to build dozens of such workshops across Cameroon. Eventually, he hopes, his idea will be used in all of Yaoundé's walkways.
And this episode ends with the political activist in Kenya, Boniface.
The writing and history is on the wall, here at the offices of Power 254. It's the focus for a new generation of young Kenyan political activists. Boniface Mwangi runs the organization, which uses the full force of modern communications to protest against corruption and nepotism.
So when I started as an activist, I was alone. I was this artist, photographer, come activist, was doing things on his own. And I realized that if there was a community where people like me worked every day and interacted with other people, we could actually build a movement.
More than 250,000 people follow him on Twitter. He uses the platform to target controversial issues and often criticizes the government. The 32-year-old is active across social media, but his work goes far beyond what he does online. He organizes discussions and also demonstrations.
Most memorable protest that I'll never forget is Occupy Langata Primary School, where the deputy president of this country had grabbed a school playground to build a parking. And he went there to join the kids to reclaim back the playground. There were police officers who were armed. They threw tear gas at the kids, but the kids never gave up, and they came back and reclaimed back the playground.
The social media base he's built up has given him a global reach. 26-year-old Sarah Malia is from Malta. She decided she wanted to work for Power after watching a documentary about Boniface. 2 years ago, she started as an intern. Now she's employed there.
Everything that we do here has that a bit of an activist twist, you know. So how do you use social media for social change? Yeah. How do you use social media to speak about different social injustices that are happening within Kenya? So a lot of our trainings do focus on that.
More than 100,000 young people have now taken part in workshops run by Power under the slogan Team Courage. Although he's not the only one working there, Boniface Mwangi himself is an important part of why they come.
So yes, I think he's a role model in that effect, you know, a role model for young people to say, no, we're not going to do this anymore, this is not right. A role model for people who want change in their country.
My ideas for the future, I would like to play a bigger role in the governance of this country, or get to a place or a public position where I have a more defined role in the work that I do.
He works into the night, building influence he hopes to use to help Kenya's youth play a part in the future of their country.
And that's all we can take on Africa on the Move this week. See you next time.
for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Bukky November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Event, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Oshukeye.
Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Events is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely, right? No question. He's a living legend.
Oh, God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, no.
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity.
No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry. You're watching
Plus Event on Plus TV.
Stay glued to Plus TV Africa every Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West African time.
Abraham, you are one family. There's no dream of this sport in Nigeria.
See how your body just dripping diamond.
Truthfully, women, we are dangerous, for real. And it happens. So, it happens. It's a hard one, for real, but it happens. That's all I know.
Well, from what we've been hearing, it happens maybe sometimes. I won't say it's right. However, in a situation where that happens, there's different sides to it. You know, if the man, for instance, has a good relationship with the kids, depending on their age also. For instance, you can the reaction when the kids are still like maybe age 1, age 2, age 3, it's going to be different from, for instance, if the kids are like 20-something, 30-something years. In that case, life goes on. If the children are grown-ups and they still feel